The date is the 22nd of Dravago, the year of our kingdom, 998. The weather is warm outside, warm inside, for the most part. The darker parts of the night can still bring in a chill. And the situation is that we are in our room at the inn, preparing for bed. I'll try to keep this entry brief, as both Willow and En are sleeping, and I don't want to risk waking them with my light. So, what happened since last I wrote? Well, earlier today, Audrey Whistler went with Brina Dimadani to interrogate the suspect in the murder of the playwright Tarek Elam. Nothing about this situation feels simple. And given the victim was a man of the theatre, an art rife with dramatic twists and turns, it almost feels intentional. Every little event being orchestrated by someone overseeing everything. I'm jumping ahead. Audrey and Dimadani went to interrogate Dragovich. That went about as well as one could expect it to. He was antagonistic and rude and unhelpful, to put it politely, and Audrey did the most logical thing she could do. She used her magic to delve into his mind. That provided more than the next to nothing they were given. Dragovich and Vaelia were in cahoots with staff at the auction hall, and he likely even ended lives there as a mean of tying up loose ends. He was pleased Vaelia, his boss, for lack of a better word, escaped. He even attempted to buy time for her through the interrogation. An explanation for at least part of his bad attitude and unwillingness to cooperate. And perhaps most importantly to some, he was almost entirely unaware that Elham had been murdered. How far beneath his own obsession was he hiding that he hadn't even heard the news? He was a thoroughly distasteful man. He was a thoroughly distasteful man. He spoke of his motivations, that he follows someone named Lady Ilmaro, and the purpose of his emerald-colored sticky fingers was to return her to her former glory and bring about death and destruction and conquest. Dragovich, knowing he was to spend the remainder of his days in chains, or worse, opted to an end of his own making. He took his own life, and by some magic rose again to do battle in the basement of the Port Authority. He was a bad person. He got people killed, and likely killed so many by his own hand. And still, part of me is saddened to know that this is his fate, even if slightly. Death is sad for bad people. Death is sad for all people. And death is sad even when chosen for oneself. And then I returned to the hotel. Willow followed shortly after. Their mood was somehow even lesser than when I had left. Perhaps it was a bad idea to leave them alone at all, but given how they were in the evening, I doubt my company would have done them any favors. What did we discuss? Not much comes to mind. Conversation was awkward when it wasn't entirely silent. The only useful thing we decided was that Kai should speak to Captain Frostroot in the hopes of convincing her to allow Ellen to be spoken to. I supposed, since we're no closer to solving his murder, it's the best course of action. And then all of my ramblings on the previous pages. That's what I spent most of the evening tending to. Whether Willow is the one who orchestrates this method of evidence gathering, how this will impact Frostroot's actions in the future, how that reflects on Willow. Do I have agency in this little orchestra? If Willow offering advice and instructions and me taking them is their action, does that even matter? It does to Willow. So I attempt to figure it out and get nowhere from my efforts. I was responsible for a cavalry unit. I'm almost certain that I shared that belief with Willow. My unit's actions were a reflection of me, of my skill, of my intellect, even my values. If not pragmatic, then militaristic. Their actions were my own, and their failings were mine to shoulder. How can I tell Willow that what I do is no reflection on them when, if asked only a few years ago, I likely would have agreed, and wholeheartedly so. Do I agree now? I don't know. And I've spent even more page pondering this. And again, I am nowhere further for my efforts. I think I need to sleep. Maybe a clear head will give me answers.
We awaken next morning, bright and early, within the shared hotel room of the Gold Dragon. There is a folded letter that has been slipped under your door, addressed to your group.
Uh-huh.
Should we roll to see who notices it, or?
Yeah.
I think you all notice it. It's just a question of like who gets there first.
Me.
Okay.
Me. Yeah.
Roll20 has decided that even though character sheets are working, the
documents
dice
aren't working.
aren't.
Oh no.
Those are important.
Okay. I'll be there in a second.
Those are incredibly important. That's like
But yes,
the whole basis of the game.
Yeah, so I'll open it up in a different window. So yes. Roll either perception or initiative.
I'm not
Actually,
gonna get it. I don't believe.
I think initiative.
All right.
Oh wait, maybe I would. We don't know.
I'm drinking water.
Yeah, how's N, by the way?
And is chugging water again, I think. The third morning in a row.
It's just opening. I should just bring mass amounts of coconuts home. Sorry about that.
Well.
Oh, damn.
Willow,
guess I am
despite
getting
everything, you notice it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's probably important to get in case we're being, threatened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's
Okay,
that?
Willow will
I
go
think
over
N will notice.
Hmm?
I think N will notice Willow moving over to the door and picking it up, at least.
Yes.
I imagine
you
Willow's
all notice it.
Yeah. Okay, Willow's going to open it and look at it.
Yes. In your would-be employer's handwriting, it reads, to the Odds and Ends Merc Company. I'd like to discuss the results of the test run and what our respective plans are going forward at your earliest convenience. You know where to find me. Damon Ardantego.
What is it?
You good, Willow?
Feel free to make a perception check.
Oh, good.
This would be insight.
Insight check, rather. Their back's facing you guys. I imagine them kind of facing the door to read it.
Oh,
How's a
24 go? A nat 24.
In the world?
Well, Willow?
Tell me everything about how you're feeling.
Yes.
After the recap? Holy moly. Okay. I think Willow hasn't given context, but you get the impression, very loud impression, that they are not happy with what they're seeing. I feel like, let's say that Willow's bandana is off. You see their ears like flinch, and it's not just upset, it's angry. I think maybe Luke is close enough to see there's like a twitch in their face. Like almost like it's about to be a snarl. They were chill. Like they woke up. I feel like they looked a little tired when they woke up, but they were like level. They didn't say like good morning or anything, but they were level. They were going to probably go to the bathroom and just like freshen up, wake up, do the thing, get ready for a busy, awful day, probably. But like this has annoyed them.
Okay.
But they are holding onto it very tight. Like not it literally, they're holding that feeling down quite tightly.
Do I get any inclination as to why they're angry? On a natural 24?
I think
I will say
It's probably directed at whoever wrote that
Yeah.
Okay.
that message,
And
or the message itself.
yeah. And I think it'll be clear when Willow probably folds the letter back up and hands it over to whoever's closest, who's probably Luca,
Yeah.
to say, Damon.
Huh.
En's gonna come over and try to read it past
I'll
Luca.
open it and share it
Yeah.
with N.
Yeah. I will say probably part of your nat 20 is seeing that Willow didn't give it to you until they had swallowed a bit of that anger. So they look kind of more level when they turn around. But you know better.
I know better. I see you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, this was inevitable, considering how we set up this whole arrangement. En says after reading them the letter.
Have we had breakfast yet? God?
No, we
Nope.
just woke up.
No,
This
just
is
woke up.
Yeah,
like
okay. Yeah, okay. Cool. Well, maybe we should figure out where we stand before we stand in front of him.
They say at our earliest convenience, so we have time to consult each other before we approach him.
I'll order us breakfast. I'm hungry.
Okay. You get breakfast delivered rather than going down to...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Sure.
Willow just goes immediately to the bathroom, wash their face,
Yeah.
doesn't really respond to the question of, oh, we should talk about it. It's just like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Does Luca say that out loud? How does Luca look?
No, Luca looks thoughtful and concerned, but he's had that expression for the past couple of days. So,
I feel like En might have not got any extra insights, but they do have an idea of the general vibe that's been going around.
yeah.
And can
Oh, I
definitely
get-
read the room.
Yeah, I could do that much. I have some
I think
context.
Luca kind of rubs his neck and glances at Anne and gives them a smile like, I get to spend today with my favorite person.
Apparently.
You excited?
Not particularly. The goal is not exactly an exciting thing, but it is necessary.
Yes. Yes. Silly Luca.
You're fine. I know what you mean.
Let's hope I don't put my foot in my face when we speak to her.
You feeling up to it?
I never feel up to anything.
Oh, well, I'll keep that in mind then.
But I do it, and I do most things well. Or at least kind of good. So,
You keep trying, that's what's important.
Luca nods and smiles, but it's quite genuine. Because he actually believes that. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a relief.
Yes. Nice to hear that sentiment echoed through N, who is very much concerning. So,
One word for it.
So, Willow has a thorough shower. You will make yourself ready. You get breakfast delivered. It is, I would say, simple continental fare, so it's like bread rolls and jam, maybe some boiled eggs.
Mm.
That sort
Fruit.
of thing. Yeah,
I don't know.
fruit.
I don't know.
A
breakfast
yogurt
foods,
cup.
I'm sorry. Breakfast for
it's
Sarah
hotel
is
breakfast.
leftover dinner.
Yeah. It's hotel breakfast.
Yep.
Some bread, some cheese, some fruit,
The basics.
some jam, that kind of thing. A pot of tea.
If we're not going to roleplay anything before skipping, I would like to ask Willow what they're doing today, just to be aware.
I mean, I think we're going to talk about it a bit.
We are? Cool. Let's do that then.
I assume so.
Family and friends.
That's up to Mim, I suppose. Final vote.
me.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
breakfast. What are we doing today? What are you doing today, Willow? While Kai and I are gallivanting out on the town.
Still deciding.
Pardon?
Still deciding.
Well, it'd be good to touch base after me and Luca go for our morning routines. Not really routine, but our morning plans. Meet up
Quest.
again before I approach Brina. I don't know if she's going to have a contract all written up for us already, considering yesterday, but it'd probably be best we get as much information between us as possible before Ed makes kind of a chopping motion.
I am
Do you know what-
cut off officially.
You're just placed in a different box.
We'll have to get more creative with our collaborations, but there will be limitations that weren't there before, yes.
Like, I can say confidently that you've never eavesdropped before, have you?
Willow's ears
So-
flinched under their bandana.
You probably
Like,
won't be
on
doing
purpose.
that. Like, you won't be doing that while having private conversations. I can
No,
trust
never.
you on that, can't I?
I wouldn't dream of it, Luca.
Yep, you never know what kind of information might spill out if you're not careful.
Hmm.
You two lack in care. That's it.
It's a fundamental trait, yes.
Hmm.
I've been known to leave the door open when it should be closed.
A salvage thing, I think.
Any other plans for you, Willow? Other than touching base with us during the middle of the day?
Just preparing for tomorrow, I suppose. Might stop by the library, see if I can find a dictionary.
What's that?
What?
What's that?
And rolls their eyes.
A book with. Okay. Oh wait, no. Willow was going to explain it, but then N rolled their eyes. Now they're not sure. Willow just go back to eating. They don't know how to read that.
Do we want to deal with the letter today?
Damon's? I don't think we should until we have a discussion between the three of us about everything.
Naturally. Do we want to do that today, is my question. Considering he is paying for our lodgings, this is something of a pressing issue.
How does Willow how does Willow feel about that?
Did Luca ask that out loud?
No, absolutely not. I'm looking at them and wondering, do they give off any sort of vibe about whether or not they want to do it today? Like rip off the Band-Aid?
I think Willow's going to say, after like a long sort of glaring silence, I think we'll get it out of the way.
Like ripping off a bandage?
Whatever's. We have plenty to think about,
We don't
other
have
than
to
whatever his plans are.
We don't have to give him an answer, we just have to give him
Pacify him.
Touch base.
give him
Again.
a plan going forward. It was inevitable when we set up this plan as a test run.
Yep. So we'll talk to him as soon as possible and organize whatever needs to be done with our lodgings. I'll probably need to stay separately from you two anyway, depending on how the thing with Brina goes. So
We'll see
I
if
don't
it's
see-
that strict.
I hope not. I like having you around.
It would be best if we could stay together as much as possible.
Otherwise, Fish Dog won't know which room to go to.
Don't want to confuse the poor thing.
Fish Dog and I will take turns with each of you.
So that said, what do we want to say to him?
Well, how do we feel about our little test run?
I think Ken looked at Willow at that.
Well, I'll look between the both of you. So if you end up looking at Willow, I too shall look at Willow.
Don't do that. Come on.
No. Keep catching you guys triangulating looks at me, and it's not very nice, but not
I'll
very
look
nice
at
to
my
feel.
eggs. I'll look at my
Yeah.
eggs.
I will say on that nat 20 insight riding forward, Luca, it might be good to open the conversation with how you feel and just
Okay.
be like, okay, I have volunteered myself
Yeah, that's what I
as the
was
first
thinking,
one
actually.
so that there is less pressure to be the first one to talk.
Well, personally, I think we managed to function well in a controlled setting. I would be interested in a controlled combat situation before I make any final decisions, personally. We were in an uncontrolled combat situation, and both the auction and the combat situation were well managed. I would like to perhaps organize another little trial run before I make any decisions. I would like to see how well we function with Damon. If his end goal is to slay a dragon, I would like to know that we are capable of doing so without getting each other killed.
And
Lucas smiles.
and is nodding along. Yeah, that makes sense to me. He definitely is interested in getting into combat situations, so that will be a vital part of our arrangement if we decide to go forward with this. As for me, I spoke to him the other day and pretty much gave the same answer I'm planning to give now, which is can't give him anything concrete until I finished with this case. But after that, we can discuss further options.
Luca nods.
Willow gives a little shrug and then a nod. Suppose I'll be spending my day figuring out how to say what I want to.
Well, feel free to use us as a test run if you like.
Or someone very smart once told me to write things down. That can help you figure out what you want to say.
Yeah, Willow bounces their brows like that's the point. But then also looks annoyed. There are more important things to think about today.
I mean, it's pretty important. It's months of travel, right? That's important.
It's a discussion to be had, but it's perhaps not the most important discussion we will be having today.
Just come back unstabbed from speaking to Meraldine and we'll see what
Lightly
happens.
stabbed.
Well, I've done it once under better circumstances, so fingers crossed.
I'd like that to maintain I'd like that to be my main priority today. When that is passed, then we can think about him.
Fair.
Okay.
Sounds fair to me. Pretty much my whole modus operandi anyway.
Well, in that case, what are you planning to say to her when we show up? Where are we meeting her? How are we meeting her? Have we discussed this? I look at N.
Vaguely.
The plan that you had so far was just like find her outside of the hospital.
Mm.
We could. I feel like it was kind of meta discussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
so.
in bits and bobs, this could also be another meta discussion if you guys wanted to get into it rather than talk. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Do you mean meta or in character here?
Oh no, I was just like in my mind I was like, oh, is that the cutaway? What's our
Yeah.
plan for the day? And then like
We could cut away to Kai and Luca walking and talking.
Yeah.
ooh.
That's fine for
Now I
me.
want to see Kai. Rich, when's Kai coming out?
Yeah.
Later.
Later,
Guy's probably not gonna
after breakfast.
turn over in the gold dragon just to be separated from it, so he's not seen exiting
Yeah, that
it.
makes sense.
I have to take you to a dark alley. I know that much.
Yeah, where Kai will kidnap me and replace me.
Don't say it like that.
God, that's so freaking. Willow will wish you luck before you leave. I think they are going to sit in the hotel room for a little bit and work on their armor and their spells.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds
But
good.
then they might head out with you guys and go to the library or something after.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Cool.
They just-
Yep, that's fair. You can
Yeah.
walk some of the way there and then split off when you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once Willow splits off, that's probably when Kai's gonna come out. Just again to add degrees of separation as much as one can.
Do you want to hide in a barrel before you change? That might help.
Again, it's just gonna walk into like a shadow.
It's a pretty quick change, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very quick. It's just like pull up the hood, come back, Kai.
pull down the hood.
Yeah.
Bye.
You made a fantastic point. Willow's just going to stay in the hotel room. I'm not walking with you guys. Just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, fancy
Willow
meeting
does
you
their
here.
work.
Hello. Kai's going to start making his way towards the hospital.
You're so happy to see me.
We saw you this morning.
Not with those eyes. Or eye, I guess. Can you see through the eye patch? You can, can't you? A little bit.
Due to Willow's tinkering, yes.
Yeah. Are you thirsty?
And drank plenty of water this morning.
But you're still thirsty. Come with me.
Kai watches Luca go wherever he's going when he says, come with me. Follows.
I would like to find just like a small, out of the way, empty looking cafe.
Make a perception check.
12?
You find one that is empty-ish.
Yeah.
It's less busy, let's say.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be empty, but just not bustling.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to take Kai in. I'm going to sit him down. I'm going to order like a little fancy teapot that we can share.
Okay.
I was under the impression we would walk and talk.
No. I need to take notes. So, please sit down.
Kai sits. It's completely blank face. It's like you've taken his model and just sat him down. Nothing else has changed.
Like a full 90-degree legs.
Yeah.
Feet up. All right. So, Luca takes out his journal, takes out a pen, sets it and do you want anything to eat? We've had breakfast, but you could have something else.
I'm fine.
Does Anne want anything?
And is also fine.
All right. If you don't mind, gravity is the something of something, so I'm just going to get started. I have a few questions I want to ask you, and I am doing so because I feel like it would be better coming from you than N. So,
Understood.
first, will N be attending the memorial service for their friend at the auction house?
And intends to attend the memorial, yes.
As themselves?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to accompany them if they're all right with that.
Kai nods. You're welcome to join them, but not required.
Okay, good. Luca makes a note in his book. Okay. So, you know everything N knows, yes?
Yes.
The day before the auction in Willow's boat. I look up at Kai, like, waiting for some sign of recognition.
I recall the incident with Willow. What of
Tell
it?
me what N thinks. Please.
Kind of like pauses for a moment to contemplate that. It was problematic.
Mm.
You wounded Willow at a pivotal moment, and they may hesitate to speak with you about sensitive subjects again due to it. It was the moment they were opening up to us, finally, and it was a pivotal moment for Anne as well, since they were planning for this entire endeavor. And unfortunately, the way you reacted was not ideal, though I am sure you are aware of that at this point.
Luca nods.
You cannot necessarily be blamed for that, as it can also be understood that Willow's circumstances touched on your nerve as well. However, it cannot be denied that if you had reacted in a negative way, as if you did not believe N when they told you of the Snapdragons, I doubt we would be in this position right now. You had the fortune of having some rapport with Willow at that point, but it does not mean that damage was not done. However, I do not believe the damage is irreversible, but that will depend on you and Willow.
Luca is making notes.
When it comes down to it, nothing in this life is earned without a fight, Luca. If you value the relationship, then it is up to both parties to fight to maintain it. Though who needs to fight more may depend on the grievance. Willow struggles to open up at all about anything. And I imagine what they told us that day was especially difficult, which means a negative response will be especially difficult to rectify.
That is what I've been wrestling with.
I am not in a place to be able to give advice on that front. I am not experienced in... Guys, the eyes narrow really small. Matters of the heart, I suppose. Is not my function.
I think it is. You exist to temper the matters of the heart, don't you?
I suppose. As for how N feels, N was reassured when they saw the two of you spar.
Really?
Guy nods.
Even though it was awful.
At times, emotions are too high for words. A physical contest sometimes helps exhaust that energy. Only afterwards is when reasonable conversation might take place. The way Willow clung to you, I believe they do not want to lose companionship. Willow has already lost plenty, evidently. It might be a struggle to patch the wound caused by a bad response to a pivotal moment, but if both parties are willing, it is not insurmountable. It's simply a matter of figuring out what that fight entails. be successful.
Does the unfeeling man have any words of advice on what I should do? What would N do?
And would be there, and would remain a constant in their life, and show them that, regardless of what has taken place, they will remain a steadfast companion, regardless of the hurt caused in either direction. Show them that they can be relied upon. And when the other starts to close the gap, that's when you can take a step forward and close the gap yourself as well. As I said, it's a fight for both parties, not just one. You cannot force anyone to be your companion. Not truly.
Evidently.
But you can stand there and offer your hand and see if they will take it. Show them that you won't leave them.
Right.
Of course, Willow is a puzzle box. But as I
Luca
said,
nods with you're telling me, eyes.
as I said, I doubt they want to lose any more than they already have. Don't be dissuaded just because they're hurt.
Difficult, knowing I'm the cause of the hurt.
That is exactly why you need to be the one to patch it.
Hmm.
Lest they be thrown to the wind to lick their wounds once again.
Thank you for being candid.
Kai nods.
It might not be your or N's method of operation, but I would like to speak with Willow candidly about it.
There's likely value in that.
That's good to know.
Is there anything else I can offer you in place of Seeker Elsa?
She's offered me plenty on this subject, thank you. But she wasn't there at the time. So. And given my position as a sponge, I sometimes think it's good to go to different sources of water.
Indeed.
Willow seems to be taking this whole situation not as well as I'd expect.
No, and very much anticipated that this would be difficult for them before we even entered the gallery. However, and did not anticipate everything that happened afterwards. That has not helped the situation.
Does N think the fault of that is entirely mine? Or
On the
just
contrary,
the... Luca pauses and looks up.
and is the reason that the gallery incident has happened at all, at least within Willow's perception.
Hmm.
And is the reason that that discussion happened at all.
Hmm.
Tarek likely would have died regardless of N's presence, but at least Willow wouldn't have been there to witness it. Willow
And so we
may have yet confided in us about their past, but perhaps not with the pressure of a mission the next day, so that all of this mess could have been sorted sooner.
Luca's writing something, and he slowly brings his pen to a stop and kind of fiddles with it for a second. If I tell you to go shopping to buy some bread, and while you're going shopping to buy bread, you stub your toe and break it, is it my fault that you've broken your toe?
That would be more my carelessness.
Luca is asking in a genuine way. He's not trying to prove a point to Kai. Just so you know.
Mm. Yeah, I think Kai might click over to that a moment later. Like, Kai is going to assume that Luca's trying to prove a point, because he's always trying to prove a point when it comes to questioning how N thinks about themselves. But then, like, has a moment of recognizing something different about Luca's face.
Is it only in small matters like that that blame gets to remain on the person who stubbed their toe? If I ask you to go shopping and then on the way you kill a man, is it then my fault that a man has died?
If I killed someone, then that would be on me.
You don't think that because I sent you out, I am at least in part responsible?
Every day we go out into the world and we risk our lives. We risk our safety. You can go down the chain to try and find blame, but that pit can become endless.
It's interesting that this seems to be something that the three of us struggle with.
Indeed. Perhaps that is what draws you three together.
I don't know if I want it.
Somehow I doubt anyone wants to be saddled with uncomfortable questions, responsibilities. I cannot rightly say whose fault it would be if you sent me on a shopping trip and I killed a man. It would depend on the man, I suppose, on you, on N, on me. There are many factors at play.
And yet it'd be so easy for me to say, I sent you out, so the fault is mine.
It would be just as easy for N to say that they were not careful enough, therefore they were cornered by a thief who threatened their life, and they had to defend themselves. It was their fault for being careless. Placing blame is easy. Taking responsibility is hard.
So I should take responsibility for the man you killed, even in some small way, because I was the only reason that you were out.
That is not likely how the law would see it.
The law is relative, isn't it?
It is. Is it a
Just a
basis?
criminal to say that.
It is a basis to understand how the world might view actions. You did not send me out specifically to kill someone. Cannot be called an accessory to murder in that case. Blame falls on me. Or perhaps given the circumstance, it falls on the man. Self-defense. He
I
also
don't
made a
think-
choice that day to do something that would put him in a position where En would have to consider his life forfeit.
And is responsible for Willow's emotional state.
Not entirely. Willow was broken before you met them. It was exacerbated by the conflict, and certainly your relationship with Willow will suffer as a consequence of that interaction. But to say that Willow's situation is solely your fault is incorrect.
Said N.
Well, the same goes for En. I never said I agreed with En's stance on the situation. I simply told you what it was.
I didn't realize you could have a different stance.
Part of my function is looking upon the facts objectively. That often results in me having a different opinion on them.
Does N know this?
Of course, and uses this function to their benefit so that they may also look upon a situation objectively.
Luca nods, like he's taken a moment to set aside his own stress and is just interested to learn about Kai.
That's good.
So, what does Kai think?
About the situation?
Luca nods.
There are many parts in play. Tarek would have died, regardless of En's involvement, and I imagine if Drakovich was captured at all, he would still have done what he did regardless of En's involvement. Willow might have not been present, but Willow still would be struggling with many of the same issues that they did before. Perhaps not exacerbated, but festering.
Luca makes a face at that word.
Placing the blame solely on En is a simple quirk of their brain. It does not line up with the logic of the situation, which is far more complex. But it is a comfortable place for En to be.
Taking blame.
Kai nods. The death of Tassie has certainly not assisted in that as well.
I can imagine.
En is struggling. But I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that.
No. I'm pulling out my hair, trying to figure out what to do.
You're not the sole bearer of our emotions.
I'm not. But I can offer a hand, and N can bridge the gap, and I can close it. Right?
Indeed. Focus on being a friend, Luca. That's what you're good at.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, it comes naturally then.
Where do you go when you're not on the outside?
I am the voice in the back of your head.
My head? Is that where you go?
Haven't you ever experienced a moment when you know you are having a strong emotion, overreacting perhaps, and you cannot necessarily talk it down, but you do have another thought running alongside it that is more calm and more logical? It does not necessarily talk down the emotional response. It is often useless. But it's there, observing the situation, contemplating it from a more objective angle, showing you the logic that your emotions are unable to parse. That's where I live.
You are funny.
I'm glad I can entertain you.
And help. Luca taps his pen on his book. I want to speak to Willow. But
Then you should speak
I'm
to
struggling.
Willow.
I'm not sure when I should.
Then be there
I'm not sure.
until you are.
Let's finish this. Luca gestures to the pot of tea.
Right? I will sip. Probably a little cold now. That's fine. So is he.
Cool. Let's briefly cut back to Willow alone in the hotel room, and then we'll cut back to these two as they approach the hospital. What's Willow up to?
Willow's probably after, I imagine them kind of dawdling around mindlessly for a bit, but they will sit down at the desk and take the advice that is originally their advice that Luca echoed back to them about writing. I think they get their pen out. You know when you just sit there and like you're about to write for a while, but it's like nothing comes out for a bit?
Yep.
Yeah, I think after like a few false starts, Willow writes with like one line with a pretty firm hand, which is to say, like, you know when you write too hard, pen like pulls against the paper?
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to know what they write.
I would like to know.
I would like to know.
Okay.
The camera would like to know.
I think the camera picks up on Willow writing quite plainly, I don't want to talk about the fucking contract, before they close their book, put it in their pocket, and go for a walk around Regalport.
Fair enough.
Cool. They're gonna wander over to... Never mind, we'll see if I go there. Or should I do that now?
Yeah, let's roll... Oh, God. What is...
Yeah, no, not fully. Hey, look, I'm just gonna wander around Regalport and look at some shops.
Okay.
Just looking.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Good. Okay. Cool. Great.
I'm just looking. I'm just looking. Cognot is out.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kidding.
Cool.
Should I keep
like? I would like you to make a wisdom check. This is for impulse control.
Nice. I have impulse control. As I said, I'm just looking.
You are just looking. You look in through the window of Mardale's Antiquities and walk away.
Can I do a quick check?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Oh.
You see your reflection in the glass, and you walk away.
I hate it here.
All right. We cut to Luca and Kai approaching the Jurasco-run Blessed Wings Hospital.
Oh.
It is at the corner of the Pirate Exchange, close to the Crown Bay Harbor. A modestly large group of buildings in whitewash with the emblem of House Jurasco in brass over the front door. A griffin holding a crown of laurels. Both of you give me a perception check.
Can I ask? You know how
Yes.
hospitals have florists in them?
Some of them do.
Yeah, does this one?
I don't think so.
Was there a florist on the way? Luca would have brought flowers.
Yes. You can buy some flowers.
I'll just spend 5 silver.
Okay.
That is my
Cool.
my flower budget.
Okay. So, Kai, you are on the lookout.
Yep. Head swiveling.
Yep. You spot Meraldine Frostroot at the door to the hospital's cafe, dressed in a sharp black frock coat with her curly auburn hair pinned back off her face in a way that makes her look austere. She is finishing up a conversation with a tall, elderly man in a fine suit, leaning on a silver-chased cane. Even from behind, you know who that is.
Motherfucker.
Are you serious?
Kidding me?
No
Are you
way.
kidding?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. Okay.
Nani,
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm gonna let that 18 perception check ride. Do you alert Luca?
Yeah, I think Kai sends a message to Luca that just is like Edmund at like, I don't know, 12 o'clock.
Luca's like head snaps and he's like, his face says, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, no.
And then he, like-
If Anne was out, there'd be a very different expression. But I think Kai instead like puts his hand on Luca's chest and urges them somewhere
yeah.
a little more concealed, but is still watching.
Okay. Yeah. N is rather Kai is definitely positioned himself in a place where he can eavesdrop over the conversation, or would you rather avoid it altogether?
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
Thank you.
In which
Lord.
case, the conversation as follows. Luca can reroll the perception check again. We'll treat this as advantage to overhear. Otherwise, I'm sure.
There we go.
Okay,
Yay.
good enough. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so you overhear the tail end of a conversation. Geraldine says, "A very generous offer, Sir Beckett, though I would need time to consider your terms." Beckett replies, "Naturally, I would not want to unduly burden you after such a recent bereavement. The offer is open to you at any time." Geraldine briefly betrays a look of surprise. Beckett continues, "Please do not hesitate to contact me, especially if you change your mind after pursuing other means." He hands her a business card. She accepts it. It would be a shame to see skill such as his go to waste at such an untimely moment. He gives her a shallow bow and departs. and quickly disappears into a carriage, leaving the hospital. Meraldine regards the business card with an arched eyebrow, and then pockets it. What would you guys like to do?
I would like to ask. He wanted Tarek to play. Tarek's playing Sean, correct?
Yes.
And Tarek said no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel like I can see what's happening.
Remember, one of the first theories was mentioned.
There's certainly
Anyway.
something happening. All right. Well, good thing Kai is here. Good thing this is Kai right now. I felt Rom's whole hackles and thus N's whole hackles just shot into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're
He's
gonna
coping
tamp that
mechanism I
right on
pretended
back
earlier.
down. I am the logical thoughts that look at the anxiety thoughts and go shut the fuck up and continue forward.
We'll deal with those
So,
later.
nothing has changed. Everything has changed, but nothing has changed because we did not witness that. So, all right,
Indeed!
cool. Let's just get our head back on straight and screw that whack right on.
And in the background, like screwing their literal head back on, like on a doll.
A mannequin.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Kai has just been completely unmoving, if not a bit like sharper in the eyes as he listens. A bit more murder in those eyes.
Luca is very focused and sedate.
I suppose
Quick.
I suppose like Kai should approach her alone first. Since
Oh.
we know each other, or
Luca seems like to perk up and then pushes the flowers towards Kai.
stay nearby. Ideally, I will be roping you into the conversation shortly.
A little voice in the back of your head.
Are you sure you don't want to be the one to give these to her? These are more like you.
Well, I don't know her, so okay, fine.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
Well, where's she
describe.
going? Is she just standing there? Or?
She was briefly standing there, and she looks like she's probably about to leave the hospital. So,
Okay, well, I think Kai is just going to start to make his approach and try to make himself obvious. That is not really how he operates, but in this particular case, he doesn't want to startle her or sneak up on her. So
yeah,
he's trying to make
that's
himself
fine.
evident and will kind of at a certain distance announce himself with Captain Frostroot.
Oh, well, there's a face I wasn't expecting to see anytime soon.
I'm sure. You remember me then.
Of course.
Kai nods. Allow me to cut to the chase. I was present at the gallery on the night of the auction.
Ah,
I am very sorry for what happened.
she gives a sort of slight smile and a nod of acknowledgement and acceptance.
Yeah, Kai gave the flowers back to Luca, so
Yeah.
doesn't have those.
I appreciate it.
Kai nods. I was wondering if I could have a moment of your time to speak with you.
Well, there's no moment like the present.
Are you comfortable to speak here, or would you like to move elsewhere?
Here seems as fine as any place, unless, of course, you prefer somewhere else.
I'm more concerned.
What exactly do you want to talk about? I'm comfortable anywhere, darling.
Kai nods. I would like to introduce an acquaintance of mine. I think
Yes?
Kai will look to Luca now, wherever Luca's standing, and like gesture for him to come on over.
Yeah, you're probably not that far apart. It's just like Luca was off to the side.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
wasn't obvious that he was with me.
Oh, honey, I'm with you.
Just get over here with your dumb flowers.
I'm over. I will come over, bow my head gently to her.
And who's this?
Luca Carnson.
Oh, a pleasure to meet you.
Are you gonna say anything, Luca, or is this?
Oh, you're not very good at introductions, are you? So, no, I will offer my hand to her. Do you want to take it?
Yep, she'll give you a little friendly shake.
I was gonna kiss her hand, gentlemanly. No, I'm not.
She won't say no to that.
Oh, okay then. All right then. If she's down for it. My name is.
So you shake her hand.
Luca Conson, and I am sorry that we have to meet under these circumstances.
Well, the pleasure is mine to make your acquaintance.
I disagree. The pleasure is entirely mine. These are for you.
Oh, thank you. She accepts the flowers. If you'd like to roll an insight check on her reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18.
Hey, Luca, there you go. You're there. This is why I brought you.
Yeah. You get the feeling that this is a very practiced gesture at this point of politely smiling and accepting flowers, specifically morning flowers. She
I would
is
not
wearing...
have gotten morning flowers.
Oh.
I would have gotten something specifically the opposite of morning flowers.
Oh, is it like a get well soon flower,
Yes.
or is it like a congratulations flower?
Not a congratulations, but maybe it doesn't say get well soon on it.
But implication.
I'd say
it's the type of flowers you give to. Yes.
Best wishes.
Okay, best wishes.
I am hoping for good
Wishing
things
you
for
well.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So well-wishing flowers. Okay.
Yes.
Well, she still accepts them with a bit of a practice gesture. It's not impolite.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. I look at Kai. Is he going to indicate why I'm here at all, or do I have to do that myself?
Well, if you want to look at Kai, then Luca is very experienced in matters regarding life and death. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might benefit from speaking to someone of his qualities.
Well, that is very thoughtful of you. However, I have been having many discussions with the hospital staff regarding that topic, so appreciate it.
May I
But
ask what
not
they've been saying?
necessary.
Luca seems concerned.
I've been discussing possible medical treatments. Not for me, obviously, but...
Forgive me. I was in attendance of the auction that night. I am...
Oh, you too.
I am aware of your situation. And... if you'd give me a moment of your time.
You have this moment.
How can I approach this?
Probably straightforward.
Yeah, I think if Luca's silent, Kai might actually speak up.
Let him. Yeah.
We have a vested interest in figuring out who did this and the means to do it.
That gets her an eyebrow raise. Oh, so you're investigating. That's different.
Yes.
Luca nods.
Well then, I have spoken with the detective on the case, but
Forgive me, but it would not be your words that we'd be looking to hear.
what do you mean by that?
I understand you're in the process of discussing potential methods of revitalizing your partner. There are ways that we can do this for, if only a temporary moment, and not in a full capacity.
She's going to need to make an insight check to see what you mean, to pick up on your subtleties, because she's not necessarily
Savvy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Ah, so you would want a report from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Luca nods.
I see. And what would you be requesting for that in exchange for this service?
Well, there are many things that can be offered. Justice alone might be enough for some. If not, I'm sure whoever did this to your partner has pockets, and they may be deep. So I understand full revitalization can be an expensive endeavor.
Wait, I meant what would you be charging me for the service?
Oh, Luca makes a face. Like he's surprised to be asked that.
Kai, are you going to smooth this over?
I imagine the intention was we would do it for no reward aside from the answers that might be unearthed.
Luca nods, like, yes.
I didn't know you worked pro bono, darling.
Kai just gives a
Kai.
shrug. Like, he doesn't know how to really answer that. Like, this is the situation he's in. So Kai just kind of...
Kai less so,
little
but
shrug.
I am concerned with justice.
And you would be the one casting the spell, yes?
I would not. I am still only a... What's a polite way of saying a low rung on the totem pole?
Apprentice?
Yeah, I am an apprentice. I am speaking on behalf of my teacher.
I see. And your teacher is offering the same service pro bono, yes?
Luca nods. Like, sure.
Even if...
I'll convince her. I'll convince
Even
her,
if
or I'll
Elsa,
pay it myself.
If it's Elsa, we'll cover it. If it's someone else, we'll cover it. We'll make this work.
We'll make it work. Yes.
Yeah.
Pro bono.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Seems I'm getting a lot of generous offers on my doorstep today.
You've had
Luca
others?
My
kinda tilts his
question
head.
would be that what exactly interests you about the case?
A companion of mine passed away during the events at the auction, and I would like the person who caused their passing to be brought to justice.
And you have not been able to perform that ritual on this companion?
They are of a faith that does not allow such things.
Make a deception check.
Hey,
20?
Oh,
30-20.
gosh.
Let's see.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
She believes you. Well then. I think at this point, let's have either Luca roll persuasion with advantage or Kai roll persuasion with advantage, whoever wants to take point on convincing Miraldine to accept this offer.
What's your
The
modifier?
DC is not particularly high, I would say, at
Mine
this point.
is-
You've made a very compelling
Yeah.
argument.
Mine is 6.
We'll go with you then. Mine's only 5.
Okay, so I'll take
Willow, just for curiosity, what's your persuasion?
-1.
Fuck you guys.
That's why we're here. Heyo! 22!
Hey.
Nice.
Oof.
All right, then. You know where to contact me?
Kai nods.
Then I'll arrange for a day where we can all come together and discuss the questions before performing the ritual.
Understood. Thank you for your time, Captain Frostroot.
Thank you for your generous offer.
I look at Kai like I expect him to step away, but I make no indication that I am going to.
Alright. Kai will go then. He's done. His job here is done. Swishes cape and walks away.
Okay.
You didn't do anything.
Oh, I did fucking plenty. I didn't murder a guy, so you're fucking
Yep.
welcome.
Yep. I didn't
Put
murder
some-
someone, and that's a lot of doing.
Yeah, that took a lot of
Yeah.
effort on my part.
Yeah, so Miraldine looks to Luca expectantly.
If I might be so rude as to ask, how much have you been told about what the process of resurrection entails?
I understand it's a very complicated, difficult, and costly process.
Have you been told that results are not guaranteed?
Indeed, I have. She's really giving you such a polite customer service smile. I'm well aware of the risks and the expenses.
Luca fetches a small purse from his pocket and offers it to her.
No, thank you.
Understandable. Also understandable. I know that if I were in your position. Luca shrugs. I just wanted to make sure you were informed.
I am well informed, thank you very much. I look forward to working with you later. She gives you a nod and moves
Can I
on.
make an insight check into her like emotional state? I'm curious.
Sure.
Please.
19?
Ah. Oh!
How you feeling,
Oh,
baby?
good.
Oh shit!
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Well. Interesting, okay.
Thank you.
What do your
God.
eagle eyes see?
So-
Luca?
God.
So. She is holding it together so fucking well. She deserves a
Mm.
medal. She is being incredibly pragmatic and incredibly strong-willed. And she is doing her damnedest to put on a face like everything is fine, or rather, things are on fire, but she is confident in her ability to fix it. That's the face she's putting on right now. You see through this a little bit. It is not unfounded. It is not completely fake, but it is very obvious that she is still, like, grieving, obviously. And there is sort of a somewhat of a sense of... I don't want to say denial, but, like, stubbornness. Like, she's not going to give up just yet. It's not over until she says it's over. She is going to exhaust every last possibility that she has means to access before she gives this up. And it is not necessarily entirely because of soft feelings.
Oh. Okay.
It's a little more complicated than that, but on a dirty 20 and her nat 1, you can see there's like a lot going on under the surface. Not necessarily all in a way that you can understand just yet, since you've only just met her.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot going on there, and she is very cool and in control.
Right. With
like,
that, do you think there is something in particular I might be able to say to her to give her like just a little smidgen of comfort?
I think validation might be the thing that gives her comfort here.
Validation for what in particular?
I guess, like, the way she's handling things or the course of action she is pursuing. I think that is what would bring her comfort at the moment, is, like, reaffirming that like, she's doing the right thing, or, like, supporting her choices. I think that is the thing that would, you can tell, like, actually be meaningful to her.
So frustrating, because that's what I would have done, but I'm like, no, I should check first to make sure that this is the right course of action.
She's not gone yet.
Now you know.
Yeah.
This all happens in a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like observing her as she moves away.
God, what do I say? Quickly, I need to crowdsource something romantic, like not romance, like partner, but like romance, like romantic period kind of vibes.
Yeah.
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 Quickly, Mim, where you at? Give me words.
What?
Drop me some bars.
I'm in Willow brain at the moment. Willow just goes, good job, and leaves. Like, what about her choices?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't look at me, man.
Chat, what can I say to her?
You could just say, I admire your convictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I will say that.
Oh, that he's lucky to have her. I don't know.
Will that make her feel better?
Who knows?
She's grieving, but at least you can not make her feel worse. So if you can, if you have incited and seen that she is capable of like feeling, if she can draw a positive emotion from something you said, then
I will also say, you don't necessarily have to say something now. You will see her again.
Okay.
There might be a better opportunity to say something positive to her.
Okay. If she's not a murderer. So.
Yeah, you don't know that because you didn't ask her actually about the case.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna get that information from elsewhere later.
Yep.
Or
Probably.
I feel like when we're discussing what we're going to ask Tarek, might be a good time for that, because this is just a foot.
This is just a foot in the door conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
I think in passing, I'd say something like, take care of yourself. just as she's leaving.
I always do, darling. And we'll cut that there.
Yeah.
It's impossibly cool.
Shall we go to
Huh?
break?
Yeah, we can go to break. I imagine you probably find Kai in some dark corner playing with a knife.
You really shouldn't be playing with that in the hospital. Luca plays with a knife.
Can Luca play with a knife? And Kai and En have a particular way that they play with their knife, which is considerably
I'm gonna say
fancy.
Luca came up to Kai and like caught the knife in his prosthetic hand.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh,
I hope you
let
fail.
me open.
Good enough. Yeah,
16.
you catch it perfectly.
And then give Kai a face like, "Huh? You see what I can do?"
Kai peers up at you, blank faced. We're done
You're
here.
impressed, I can tell.
Kai's gonna go start walking away.
Ah, I get to keep the knife. I can follow along.
Kai's going to take it back.
No, it's my knife now. You gave it to me. You relinquished it to me.
You stole it.
I do not steal. That is your and Willow's department.
You just stole it. I'm going to report you. Give it back.
You can't report me. Brina won't let me work with her.
I don't need you.
Oh, you don't.
Kai's holding his hand out expectantly.
I'm gonna... What am I gonna do? What's something silly I can do? I'm gonna balance it on Kai's palm. Like with the blade pointing up.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
Stab his hand. It's balancing.
Yeah, yeah. And I imagine Kai ends up balancing it too because he's
Yeah.
good with knives. So it's like, hey,
Just
look,
naturally
we made a
stays
little-
there pretty much because he knows how to position his
Yeah.
knife.
Wow. See what happens when we work together?
Very dexterous. And Kai's going to like twist
Magic.
his hand and let the handle of the knife fall into his palm, spin it around back into the sheath that it occupies under his cloak.
Ugh.
Keep walking.
All right. In your infinite wisdom, what should we get Willow for lunch?
Bread.
Mm.
I think let's cut away here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing is to be gained from this conversation. Willow, what you up to?
Except bread.
I think Willow might stop by the library.
Okay.
Just pick out a translation Aranese.
Yeah, I'm
to
sure
common.
there's
dictionary.
there's definitely an Aranese to Gallifreyan standard dictionary that you can pick up. Do you want to do a passing investigation check on your?
Yeah. See if I can
No.
translate the notes on my own since someone else doesn't want to.
Oh, I have a question. So
Yes.
in Aranese being a different language, does it have a different like alphabet system?
Yes, it does have a different
Okay.
script too. I would say Gallifreyan standard has what we would consider similar to the Latin alphabet. Aranese I would describe as being more similar to either like I would say somewhere between like kanji and Arabic script.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of how I was imagining it too. Like the shape of the symbols.
Yeah,
Mm,
very flowy calligraphy based stuff.
Brush pen.
I would also say that the Dakani alphabet is closer to the human alphabet.
Okay. Lots of straight
And
lines.
the Dakani, lots of straight lines. I would describe it as like similar to like other prototype alphabets. It's not like
Greek?
quite Greek or Cyrillic kind of looking script, and Dakani script is used for a lot of other languages.
Yeah. What check am I doing?
Give me an intelligence check, just straight.
Accuse you, but like Jenkins is not straight. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Unfortunately, because this is an encrypted message, just having the dictionary and like picking out just alphabetically does not help you decipher this whatsoever. You could try and read it out loud, but that's like reading out Key Smash, you know?
Cool. Even better.
So, unfortunately,
when
you
someone-
are stumped.
You know how Willow kind of slammed their book shut in their room and pocketed it? This is a very deliberate, slow close press into the cover of the dictionary that's like, I could throw this across the room right now. Yeah, no, they're okay. I think they're just going to sit and glare for a bit here until it seems like time that you guys might have finished the Meraldine meeting and they'll head back to the hotel.
Okay. We'll just cut to you all reconvening at your hotel
going
room.
to the Butterball Temple, or are we doing it later?
Maybe later.
But you guys can do that now if you want. You guys
Or
are already
just-
out.
It feels like you guys are not in the mindset to do that yet, considering what just happened.
I suppose we can go in the evening where it's more likely they're going to show up anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, your favorite seeker, your favorite vampire might be awake at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine to wait. I feel
Okay.
like it'd be best to reconvene, discuss what happened.
Yeah.
Have lunch.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So, let's say you all reconvene back in the hotel room for lunch.
Sort of
Luca
pictured it that we all kind of
probably-
arrive at the same time.
Yeah. Luca bought cake. I imagine he bought another one of those small, like, personal cakes that we're going to cut up and
Mhm.
make it into a 3-person cake.
Nice.
Tasty.
What flavor?
A fruit. I'm imagining like a what is like
What's in season?
lemon? Yeah, what's in season?
It is early summer, like end of spring.
Oh my god, mango?
That's tropical. You can get imported mango. That's more expensive.
I will pay for a
but-
little mango cake.
Okay then. Yeah, you can get a little mango cake.
Yeah. How much is that, sir?
Give me
You tell me
7
that-
silver.
Yeah, that's a lot. Nice.
Tropical
telling me
fruit.
The Dungeon Master's Handbook doesn't have a page on imported delicacies.
No.
Get on that, Wizards of the Coast. What are you talking about?
No.
No.
Nah.
No.
Anyway, cake.
Yeah. Luca holds up the box triumphantly to Willow. We didn't get stabbed, he says, whispering but loudly, you know?
The night is young.
Hello, Cognut. I thought we'd meet in the room.
I imagined us meeting in the corridor before we head into the room. So yeah, but either way, I'll be Willow after that.
Yep, though.
Cool.
And we'll shuffle
you
on into the
reconvene?
room.
Have lunch.
Yeah.
What do you guys tell each other?
So, we were successful in getting our foot in the door with Meraldine. She's going to arrange a meeting with us regarding speaking with Tarek.
Willow nods while eating again.
And is going to message this. She was also seen speaking with Edmund Beckett.
Willow drops their fork.
Ding ding.
I didn't overhear the
Hmm.
entire conversation, but it seems that he is trying to convince her to take up an offer of his. Not sure what. yet.
Something unpleasant, I can assume.
Vulture.
Figures.
Vultures are at
Widow.
least nice to look at.
I don't want to. Pardon, Anne?
Figures he targets a widow. And gives a wry smile.
Willow returns to eating. Wait, are we talking in our heads or are we talking out loud?
I think N, like, split up between the two. So, like,
Mhm.
the sensitive information was messaged, but
Yeah.
other stuff is said aloud.
Yeah. While Willow is returning to, like, putting a fork through cake or whatever it is. How are you?
I'm fine. Seen the man enough now that he doesn't really have an effect.
Willow flatly looks at you. As if they don't believe you even without the insight check. I don't know what I glean with insight. Oh.
I feel like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's not necessarily lying. It's that he doesn't have a new effect. It's like Ed
Yeah,
has,
the effect is quantified.
and is used to this feeling now, which is unbridled but very well suppressed at the same time rage.
Tightly bounded rage.
Yeah,
Just boiling fury.
yes, but it's not new and is not lying when they say I have seen him enough now that I'm kind of used to being in this state.
I think Willow flatly assesses N, and then anything else I glean at a glance?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they are keeping it together. They are furious, but they are keeping it together. This is not a new fury. This is a known, sustained, understood
Well,
Burns
fury.
sustains
Well
flight by
traveled.
spite alone.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, Willow will say, do you need to let off some steam?
I'll be fine.
You probably should let off some steam, Willow will say, returning to their food.
I'll put it into
Blow
my
up the
schedule.
stroke or whatever it is. Either way, it's a lead. Another link attached to him, and a predictable one, and an evil one, but
At least he's
nevertheless.
still in town.
That's good information.
It is information.
It might be a through line that I can work with, considering my other connections, but that'll be a conversation for Brina later.
Mm-hmm.
Ends massaging their head a bit, like their eye side of their head.
I think Luca will take a sizable chunk of mango and put it on top of N's cake from his own plate.
When are you speaking to Brina?
Later this afternoon. Or at least I plan to drop in, see what's what. Like I said, after yesterday, I'm not sure what the state of the situation is going to be.
He said she
What else
wasn't
is there?
particularly... Sorry.
No, talk.
Just that she wasn't particularly well off after everything that happened.
She told me before the incident that she wasn't fond of undead to begin with, so I'm pretty sure she did not have a good time when our friend decided to take up the mantle of being the latest undead problem.
Do you think she'll want to be present when we speak with Tarek?
I'm not sure. She doesn't even know that that's an option yet.
Oh, you're right. She doesn't.
I haven't told her, and I'm not sure I'm going to enter with that information just yet. We'll see how she's doing first. We'll see the state of the case, and we'll move forward. At present, we have arranged ourselves as apart from Madani with Meraldine. I'm not about to cross that line immediately until we felt out the situation a bit more.
Okay.
As far as Brina's
Liz?
concerned, Kai and Luca are working separately from Audrey. And Luca.
This Luca seems to be a very friendly guy.
I
He's
hear
hanging out with a lot of people.
Here he's good at making friends.
Hmm.
What's Willow like?
Yeah.
I think they look at N and they give a little like laugh and return to eating. It's like a nose laugh.
Something on your mind?
You sound more like Kai than usual.
Well, I was wearing him this morning.
Make him sound like a hat.
I believe you're the one who described him as something to be worn.
Yeah, I was.
Anne's gonna go back to eating.
You're giving me all the more ammunition for that.
How so?
I was just describing him like that.
Well, do with that what you will, I suppose.
I think Willow's just thinking that maybe I'll run this past in meta. Willow's thinking you guys go to the Blood of Vol Temple, then to Brina, then we come back and talk.
Yeah, that was
With
originally
Damon.
my plan.
Okay, then
Like,
I think that's just what
Rob's
Willow's
thoughts
thinking ahead.
as well.
Yeah.
Am I
think-
needed when Anne goes to speak with Brina?
Willow's is. Are we talking in canon or in meta?
Oh,
We're
that
talking
was
in
meta.
meta, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
no,
not,
because
not necessarily. Luca can wait around like he usually does if he wants, and if the contract is ready, he will probably be called in, but N's not necessarily going with the idea that they need him there.
Yeah.
I think what Willow's thinking is there anything else to be done before we officially, because they don't know if the contract's going to be ready or anything. It could be like, as of tonight, you are not allowed to talk to anyone else outside about this. So like, it's Willow's just thinking anything else to close off before they suggest that you guys go and do the Islay Brina trip right now. For them as well. Their mind keeps hitting an obstacle, so it's like they can't really think of what to do except for plan for the Warford meeting.
Is it an obstacle that they're going to share? Is it
No.
an obstacle that Mim is going to share? Is it Damon?
No.
Is Damon the obstacle?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But yeah, that just means that like they're kind of tapped out until we talk with him, but that should probably come after you guys go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right then.
Feel bad. Willow's just sitting in the room all day.
Yeah.
They went out to the library. They had a walk.
Both very bad walk and very bad library, but
At
Yeah.
least you got some fresh air, some sunshine. That's worth something.
I heard sun's really good for your circadian rhythm. Luca would probably call it a cicada rhythm.
Great. Fun facts.
Willow
for
just
him.
wouldn't correct him.
Yep. Keeps the cicadas coming out every 3,
Yeah.
3, 5, 7, or 13 years. Cool.
Yep, yeah. And
All
might
right.
ask Willow if they have anything else on their mind before they head out, just so Willow can say something if they want to, but if Willow's not going to say anything. Anything you want to bounce off us before we leave, kind of question?
Yeah.
Willow shakes her head. Looks like they're just gonna kind of open the window here and chill. Is there a balcony here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you guys leave, Willow's like opening up the balcony and looks like they're just gonna sit out there for a bit.
All right.
Catch some rays.
Yep.
How much we can
Late
do with that.
afternoon. You guys head to the Blood of Vol Temple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll don my Hesper face that I wore last time I was here to talk to Islay.
Yep.
Luca
Yep.
gasps. Where did you come from?
Puts a finger to my lips. Honestly, and might cast Detect Thoughts before we go in.
Mm-hmm.
Just open it up, run the coin before stepping inside.
Mm-hmm.
And look for thinking
Okay.
creatures, I guess.
Yes. So, you enter once again into the Blood Vault Temple that is here in Regalport. Past the heavy curtains. It is still early-ish in the day. It's not quite sunset yet. So you're kind of in between things. You spot Seeker Torg pottering around in the background of the temple. You do not spot Islay.
Great. I'm gonna go over
Good
to
start.
Seeker Torg then. Good afternoon, Seeker.
Hello again. Yes, the newcomer. How can I help you?
Yeah, I was actually hoping to pick up a discussion I was having with Seeker Islay the other day. I don't see them here.
Oh, well, yes, funny you should mention that. I haven't actually seen them in a few days.
Oh.
Ah. Were they sick?
I don't recall. I think they said they had some business to attend to, perhaps visiting a relative. I'm not sure. They tend to be quite a private sort.
I see. Well, if it's not too much trouble, and's gonna write down their P.O. box mailing address. Could you send me a letter when they get back?
Oh, yes, certainly. He accepts the PO box stuff.
And
Luca, what you up to?
I assume by his mind he's all above board about this.
Yes, there's no contradictory
Thoughts.
thoughts.
Cool. All right.
Well, I was listening into what Hesper was talking about.
Oh, greetings, Seeker Luca. How are you faring?
Much better now, thank you.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. And I think Seeker Torg will just have small talk with you.
Yeah.
Just asks after your health, ask about you said you came from salvage or something like that. How's the congregation there? Blah blah blah. Just normal
Yeah.
small talk. It's not hugely consequential.
I want to start.
Yeah.
I want to snoop around. I want to
Okay.
Yeah.
where
I think-
Islay works. Try and just snoop around and see what I can find.
I think knowing that Anne will snoop, I will keep Seeker Torg
Nice.
occupied with that small talk.
Yeah. Okay. And make a. How deep are you going? Are you going into the underworks of the temple?
Yeah. Okay. Refresh me.
Oh my god.
Refresh me on the. I'm just gonna go down and meet Nereus. I mean, shit.
Oh, you've already met. You can say hi.
Yeah, we met each other. I didn't forget immediately. So it's just this upper area and then the stairs to downstairs. There's no back offices or anything like that.
There are some back offices. There are some sort of side rooms where apparently Seeker Torg and Islay would normally stay.
Mm-hmm.
There's sort of the admin area, office area, and there's more to the downstairs catacombs than just Nereus's tomb.
Yeah. So when I was here before, I saw Islay come out of the basement because they were taking the blood
Yes.
to Nereus.
Yes.
Hmm. I mean, I kind of want to see where Islay worked and where they were staying.
Okay then. Make a stealth check with advantage because Luca is distracting Seeker Torg.
Okay.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, good. Yep, good enough. And make just a flat investigation check.
Okay. Oh, shit!
Oh.
Yes. And
I saw Edmund today, and I'm ready to fucking go.
Edmund induced
okay.
proficiency.
You're gonna get shit done.
Okay, so you snoop around the back area. You, I think you pick out which room is Seeker Islay's because the door is not locked.
Great.
You enter into their room, look around. It is pretty sparse in terms of furnishings, which is maybe not unexpected. The Blood of Vol, this temple is kind of a little bit more on the aesthetic side of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Though that's not necessarily true for all Blood of Vol places. There are books arranged and so on, a desk and a small bed. You sort of peer through the usual spots. It is almost laughable at how badly concealed Islay's private journal is.
Oh my god!
Okay, then I'm gonna just take that.
Honey.
Don't mind if I do.
Are you taking the whole book?
I mean,
Or are you reading through it?
I'm gonna try and I'm going to start reading through it at first. I'm not above taking this though, but I'm going to start.
Okay.
I'm still keeping my detect thoughts open as long as it will stay open to like try and be aware if someone's coming, essentially.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start flipping through and looking for dates around the gallery event.
Okay. You flip through, you pick out around the time of the gallery event, it looks like there is I think the day after the gallery or something like that, it's like a note of like it's not like super detailed journal entries. They don't seem to have a huge internal dialogue in this diary. It's more like reminders and personal notes.
Mm-hmm.
With like some entries that are more verbose.
Mm-hmm.
I did not anticipate you guys finding Islay's diary, but like on a nat 20, I have to give you that. So,
Thanks, boss.
so
You and I have been on the fucking ball
Yeah,
today.
we're doing
and-
all right. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You find notes of like Islay writing down the address of the safe house.
Oh my gosh.
And schedule for like when to bring food or other supplies.
Oh.
All right. Cool.
I'm gonna say on a nat 20 investigation check, you can also tell Islay is so bad at underhanded dealings. This is most likely the first illicit thing they've ever done in their life.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. This doesn't shock me. I think En's like making faces as someone who is very experienced in this department and very experienced at taking notes regarding these kinds of dealings. En is just reading through this, feeling pain at how poorly Islay has done this.
You know, it's like somebody has written down their password and like stuck it as a post-it note on the computer of like the incredibly sensitive database. And it's just like, okay, you're terrible at this.
Yeah.
Really didn't know what you were doing, Islay.
Yeah.
No, they really didn't.
Why?
I think I'm going to sort of keep flipping around the gallery the gallery entries because I'm kind of trying to suss out why Islay took them in to begin with, what the motivation was. But
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything in there that might indicate to that, but that's specifically, I think, what En is looking for.
Okay, so you flip forward a bit and it's like, you flip forward to the day where like you confronted Islay. And there's
Terrible
just
day.
like yes, truly, this is one of the more longer verbose entries where Islay talks about like not realizing what they had gotten themselves involved into. They never meant for people to get hurt or killed. They just thought they were helping to fellow faithful, and are afraid of the consequences of what would happen, especially if Bloodsworn Seeker Nereus finds out about this.
Mm. But nothing about, like, what Veelia offered them?
I think you would have to flip back earlier.
Oh yeah, and would be doing
I think
that.
there's like a specific thing of Islay being like afraid of like, now I won't get the reward and I
Yeah.
will also be punished
Now
by
the
my
re-
actual superior.
And I will die. Okay, so on that note, and we'll start flipping back.
Okay, so you flip back quite a ways when you find an entry that is a little bit longer, that is dating to about a month before the actual gallery event. You see Islay describe the approach of Veelia and Dragovich, and talk about how Veelia was especially sympathetic towards them, and their frustrations at having worked under the Bloodsworn champion, Seeker Nereus, who has denied every single one of their petitions to become Bloodsworn or Oathbound themselves.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Ah!
I think Anne has, like, been taking notes through this, too, in their own journal. So
Mhm.
they've been jotting down the important information that they're coming across, if not wholly lifting paragraphs as well.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go find my previous notes.
Isla, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Why?
So,
What do you? Why?
I guess I'm gonna have to kill
okay,
you
so give me an insight check with advantage,
later. Okay.
because you have found their diary.
Have.
Oh, come now.
Okay, so Islay wanted to become undead. Islay wanted to become sentient undead. You don't really have the time or care to find out the exact reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'll write that low insight roll as.
I think
It's
N's
like,
been here for a while, so they're starting to feel like the
Yeah.
pressure that they're.
yeah, so it's like, okay, this is what they wanted. This is clearly the thing that Veelia and the Emerald Claw were offering Islay,
Yeah.
and that Nereus was denying Islay for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Oh.
For obvious reasons.
Mhm.
For so many reasons.
Ugh.
N wasn't there for that conversation either, so I don't think N like.
Yeah,
N has
No,
like.
N
Exactly.
is not aware of the specifics of what that's like.
Yeah. Nor does N particularly care about why Islay wants it. They were more curious about what Veelia offered them, and therefore what
Yeah.
Veelia might offer others. Who else is vulnerable to Veelia's sway, so to speak?
Yeah,
And
I think.
great.
Yeah, so I think you also flip forward to the last journal entry,
Yeah.
which is dated almost exactly after your encounter with them.
Yeah,
It's
with
like
tracks.
the page over is just like, I fucked up. Not in so many words, but it's
Mhm.
the sentiment of that paragraph is, I fucked up, I need to do something. I can't stay at the temple anymore. And apparently they left their diary here
They just picked up and ran.
and left. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Considering it doesn't seem like they're gonna come back, yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take the whole journal.
Yeah.
They won't need it
It's not a
anymore.
particular. Yeah. So
At least in my opinion.
do that. Yep. Okay. So you are able to take Islay's journal, add that to your inventory, and leave.
Yeah, I'm just gonna saddle on out of here. Give Luca the mental signal of gravy and head out the door.
Luca, just give me a general persuasion check. I just want to see what the vibe of this conversation has been like.
Oh God.
Isn't that difficult? You can roll it one more time. Roll it one more time.
Give it another shot. One more. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Oh
You have
my
a very
God.
pleasant conversation with Seeker Torg about.
It starts out a little
General
awkward,
stuff.
but you find your footing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say it starts out awkward when you realize like you're
Covering.
putting on the distraction to leave, and then you actually get engaged in the conversation, and you have a very pleasant conversation with Seeker Torg about this and that. You enjoy your time conversing with the old boar-faced shifter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm just laughing at the idea that Luca, like, upon the panic of realizing that he's covering for N, starts like talking loud and sing-songy, like without realizing why.
Yeah.
Like just being like, and I went to the shops to get a cake, and then Saul's like, what? I don't know, imagine Luca, like,
If
once
I
he knows
talk
he's lying,
louder,
is like,
They won't notice N sliding into the back rooms.
yeah. Luca just
Yeah.
suddenly like, blood today, how's that going? Is the blood
good.
delicious? Yeah, talk like, oh,
Good. Great. Yep.
great.
Fantastic.
So that's done, and you leave the temple. You say your goodbyes and leave the temple.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh
Cool.
my god.
You heading over to Brina's now?
This
Yeah.
place is the worst, and I'm sorry. I feel like I'm not done with them. Now my brain is going directly to they're gonna become undead, and I'm gonna have to kill them. So we'll just move that
Yeah,
out.
that's where mine went to.
Anyway, yes, Brina's next. N wants to swing by a shop before going to the Madani office.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And pick up some maybe mildly fancier than office standard coffee.
Okay,
Aw.
yeah.
Aww.
Cute.
Little sly dog you.
Give me a
Break.
gold piece
Ooh.
Oh,
for. Yeah, coffee is expensive.
good thing I'm loaded.
This is like a fancy bag of coffee beans. This is like a pound of coffee.
Yeah, so N's going to purchase that for a gold.
Aren't you kind?
She had a rough day, and I'm feeling generous.
Are you kind or are you buttering her up or coffeeing her up?
It can be both.
Of course.
Okay. You head to the Warning Guild office.
Yeah. and-
Celia greets
Are you Audrey now?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Celia greets you and says, "Oh, Miss Audrey, Mr. Luca, Brina's in the office. It's a little bit late in the evening, but she's still here."
Ah, just our luck. Well, if you don't mind, I would like to speak with her.
She gestures, "Head right on in."
Thank you very much.
Luca bows his head slightly in thanks.
Yeah, I think Audrey's gonna go in first, and we'll call for Luca if needed.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
You
Audrey will invite herself in.
enter. Yes, you knock on the door and you hear Brina call, "Come in." She is sort of like one hand on her forehead, sort of massaging between her brows as she is looking at a poster on her desk. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
It's a little hard to recognize upside down, but it's a wanted poster.
Keeping busy, detective?
Ah, Audrey, good to see you. Yeah, I've been keeping real busy. What with the arrest and escape of our fugitives and pretty much guaranteeing that they're at least somehow involved in the attack on the auction hall. Well, the travel ban's being lifted. Not that it was that much of an enforceable thing. It was really more of a polite request on pain of suspicion for the people who had actually attended to go there. She gestures with the poster. These are heading up today.
Audrey wanders over, hands behind her back still, and like leans in to look at the posters more closely.
Wanted fugitive Velia.
That's what I thought.
Composite sketch of her for assault, slaughter, theft.
I see. Yes, that makes sense. If we're really lucky, she's still in town, but...
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, we've impounded the gannet, and obviously these are gonna make it more difficult for her to move around freely around here if she hasn't already escaped, but it's not great. Speaking of, I haven't really had the chance to write up that contract I've been meaning to. I got a general draft of it, but I need to get it ratified. Not that I don't trust you, but like,
Oh, no.
I prefer a little more insurance, you know?
I understand.
What with everything going on, especially considering she gestures, well, you already know.
Indeed. How are you doing,
Yeah.
Detective?
Oh, well, I'm doing all right, all things considered.
That's good to hear. I actually brought you a little gift.
Audrey's gonna pull her hands around now and show the coffee bag.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Little fuel
She
to keep you
accepts
going.
it. Oh, this is really nice stuff. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Very generous of you.
Audrey smiles.
Thank you for the gift, Audrey.
He does a little bow.
Is there anything I can help you with right now? Any questions you have?
Plenty, but I imagine that might have to wait.
Probably. Right. How many copies of the contract should I draft up?
I did discuss it with my co-workers, and it seems two.
Okay, one for you and
The big guy.
one for
Luca.
one of your. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, he's been friendly. He's been helpful.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. Anything else? Am I forgetting anything? I hate to have you come out all this way and leave empty-handed, but I've just been
Not at all.
busy.
After yesterday, I think a little grace can be offered.
Much appreciated. Yeah.
Do you imagine this case is going, well, the case of the theft is going to be leaving our hands?
Well... It's hard to say, but, it seems like we know who at least stole the objects.
Hmm.
But, nothing's been finalized yet.
Of course. I'm just
I think I'd
curious.
prefer to go back to square one and have a full overview of the facts where they stand.
Indeed.
But that can wait until everybody's present and accounted for.
Yes. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's been... you're definitely a very good conversationalist. Very good investigator, I'd say. You
Aw,
have quite the nose for leads.
I'm flattered. That means a lot coming from Adani.
Well, just saying like I see it.
You have a very sharp eye.
Thank you, I try. Well then, she sort of rests her hands on the table again, looks around. I'm afraid that's all I have to offer you for now.
That was plenty. So, shall I come by tomorrow then?
Yeah, either tomorrow or the day after in the morning.
Will do then.
Or after lunch. Honestly, it doesn't matter. If I'm not here, well, then I'll probably be asleep somewhere.
Oh, good. I'll be happy to hear it if so.
Well, until later then. Have a nice evening, Miss Audrey.
Take it easy, detective.
She opens the door for you in a gesture of politeness.
Yep,
And
he does a
says
little
her
bow
goodbyes.
and walks on out of there.
Yeah. Cool.
Back to Luca, let him know no contract today, probably tomorrow or the next day thing, so we'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24th or 25th. It'll be done for sure by the 25th.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright. Let's return back to the hotel.
Mhm.
Has Willow been up to anything again? While, or has it just, do we just get another montage shot of Willow stuck?
I think anything they might want to do otherwise would require less busy time of day. So, yeah, I guess they're just waiting.
They can shadow fence in the room alone.
I sort of
If
do
they
we have a
feel
view?
like it.
Do we have a view of the sea at all here, or is it like facing other buildings, facing inland?
I think your balcony specifically is facing inland because Damon's balcony was facing the sea, and you are
What an asshole! He ruins
opposite.
everything. Well, oh, and he takes the window seat facing the ocean. Okay, good. I think. Is there any other place in this hotel that? No, I think Willow's just mainly just sitting and like thinking. They might. It's really hard for me to figure out what Willow's doing. They might just be brooding all day, like.
Willow stewing, disassembles
stewing
fish
is a
dog,
good way.
reassembles fish dog.
They might be literally just like shooting fish dog until it breaks, fixing, shooting fish dog till it breaks, fixing. And like thinking very intensely about how they feel about things, but then also not thinking very hard about how they feel about things because there is a big obstacle in the way.
Yeah.
So yeah. I can't imagine them actually trying to like get it out their system but not really working.
Yeah.
It's not working. You know how they were doing their shadow boxing with their sword and it was like neat swishes? I feel like now
Yeah.
it's a bit more like it's swift. It's not like it's fighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost stabs the wall and nicks the paint, but doesn't.
Yeah.
Almost.
They're testing the distance between themselves and the door. Like, you know how when the kinds of strings of swordplay that Willow does like involves spins and things, and I feel like it results in like needing to be able to stop precisely before they like, for example, scratch a door they don't want to.
Yeah.
Do that to the nice door. The door didn't upset them. So
it's not the door's fault.
Yeah, exactly. So they will just play as much as they can in their room so that they don't do anything silly.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Yeah.
You hear your friends approach and are able to stow your sword before they walk in on you.
They don't open the door to a sword on them.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, Willie stows their sword, acts casual, probably plops on their bed.
Alright. And,
Alright.
And Luca return then.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to speak?
We are allowed to speak. No contract as of yet. She's still working on it. So, we're free as a bird. Which is good because NN pulls out of their pouch a whole ass journal and drops it on like the coffee table or the nearest surface.
Willow goes to hold it, or goes to look at it. Whose is this?
It's a slim journal. Probably paperback. It's not very expensive.
That
Kind of thing that could be easily be ruined by water.
is Seeker Isley's journal.
Willow's going to pick it up immediately and start rifling
Em looks
through
very
it.
proud of themselves, I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Can I do a check or
Like
something?
they came
or
in
is
with
it just
such an
gonna-
energy of I've done a good job.
Aw. Cat that drops a corpse at your door.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me a dead bird.
You're welcome.
Can I do a quick check? Like, what do I read when I flick through it? Insight.
Yeah, give me a quick investigation check. Well, you sort of do a quick skim and be like, Ed's probably read this. They can tell you what the pertinent information is before you like actually try and sit down and read.
I think a thought
like-
distracts Willow
Yeah.
to like looking through the notes and then looks at and where were they?
Unfortunately,
Not there, I assume.
they left. It seems that this whole situation made them feel as if they couldn't stay at the temple anymore.
What an idiot. Willow starts going back through the book.
Yeah, you're telling me. And I think Ed will
Okay.
like maybe start relaying some of the things they read about like Beelia and Isley's goals and Nereus. And Luca's all there to hear all that too. I don't think N has told Luca about this yet.
Oh.
Luca just knows that N went snooping.
And you didn't tell him? Luca's making a very much face.
I mean, I did. He knew I was snooping. I just didn't give him the details until now.
Yeah.
You might have known that
When-
N found the journal and that Isley was not there, but not the details.
Yeah. When N mentions about Islay wanting to be bloodsworn, Luca makes such a face.
You got
Willow's
an-
going to glance at Luca. Oh,
Yeah. And
was that
two,
again?
you got an opinion on that, for Luca?
Not one I would voice publicly.
lucky you're not in public.
Lucky we're not bound by a contract. And opens their arms to Luca, like, speak.
I can't imagine what is going through someone's head to want that. He just looks bewildered, like, what do they think they will get from it?
And Luca make an
gonna-
insight check on himself
Yeah.
and his knowledge.
Assess thy thoughts and knowledge in your studies, good sir.
Yeah.
Well, you could also read the journal and be like, because
Yeah.
N had a brief look at that entry, but didn't actually
Comprehend
gain
it.
any insights onto it
Oh,
because they were
can I read
under time pressure. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can make an
guys-
insight check on the journal with advantage because you have literally their journal.
With
Let me-
advantage.
Yes.
That's better.
Okay, 12.
Hmm.
That's better. That's decent.
Can I be reading
It's-
over Willow's shoulder
Yeah, sure.
for flavor?
So what you glean is that Islay has a profound and persistent fear of death,
Oh.
fear of dying. They are afraid of being dead, and they see being undead as a solution to that fear.
Oh, honey, no. That's
And that's what you get on a 12.
not the answer.
Yeah.
I think Willow's going to point out the passage and then hand it to Luca to say, like, basically for him to pass it, because Willow doesn't have the context that you have about what's so bad about being an undead. like they know obviously that it's bad, like to be an undead in the other sense, but like sentient undead, I don't think Willow has a lot of knowledge about that, so they're probably going to hand it over to Luca to read himself.
Luca is making a face.
Okay, Willow might just ask then, do you know what that entails?
The process of becoming Bloodsworn?
Implications of the process, I suppose. What the Emerald Claw is offering, and well, a swift death in a Madani office, apparently. So, rather, Port Authority, Hall of the Port Authority, wherever you were. Sorry, Willow gestures idly at N, like, sorry for invoking the death of Dragovich randomly.
And it's just sitting there, letting you guys parse it, so they had their time with it.
Luca feels a little more sympathetic, I think, now.
Luca, if you would like to give me an insight check with advantage on this journal as well, as you leaf through it.
15.
Okay, 15. Okay, yeah. So I can describe this more. Islay, as an elf, has already seen the death of friends many times. They work with the undead servants that are kept in the Blood of Vol temple in Regalport, which are mostly used to do like menial labor. But the way Islay sees them is that they are just sort of mechanical things that don't know fear or pain or suffering. Like, yes, they can be damaged and yes, they can be destroyed, but they are not tormented in the way that the dying feel torment, the living feel torment. Islay has this, like, truly profound fear of suffering and dying and agony. They don't seem to have a lot of connections outside of, like, the handful of people that they actually converse with at the Blood of Vol Temple. And they've been in service with under Nereus for, like, many years now. They weren't part of the original congregation, but they have been here for quite some time. And they have this fear of death. And they feel like, as somebody who is relatively scholarly, somebody who's good at, like, keeping records and tending to things quietly in the background and finding, like, sort of enjoyment in that, they feel like they would prefer to be sentient undead and continue to serve their community in this way, free of fear and suffering. And they have petitioned Seeker Nereus to become oath-sworn in that way. And he has denied them repeatedly, and they don't understand why. They don't get it.
Right.
It is unclear if Islay has received the same explanation that you have from Nereus about how being sentient undead is bad. It is unclear if Islay is specifically looking to become a sentient undead vampire, because there are multiple ways of becoming sentient undead, multiple forms that one could take. But as you read through this journal, it's like, oh, this is a person who is deeply motivated by fear. They are a coward and easily influenced.
Continue.
That has led them to a particularly selfish self-serving dream that they feel is justified. They do not understand the concept of martyrdom the way that you or Nereus do. They just see it as like another way of being. They do not truly understand like the consequences of that process.
I think while he's reading and Willow kind of see Luca's expression go from something a bit mean to something a little more disappointed sympathy.
Yeah. Islay is
Yes.
just kind of a pitiful person.
All right.
And
Sorry, Willow. What were you asking, Willow?
Yeah.
1 second. Luca's vibe seems... Is there anything to glean off vibes, or maybe what I read? Like, I feel like I can take the mood at least.
Yeah, Luca's gone from like, why the fuck do you want that, to like, oh, you...
Sad little
I
idiot.
feel sorry. I feel sorry for you. I pity you.
Yeah. I think in response to that, Willow can make a few leaps of logic in how they imagine that this might be a sad circumstance. I don't think they feel like digging into that sadness at the moment. So they're probably going to dismiss and say, never mind. That's... Fact is that they are currently unaccounted for. Dead or undead is besides the point. Or maybe it's precisely the point.
Luca nods like, thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you... You were... Sorry. Difficult to ask. You were able to follow Vaelia for a while when we were chasing her. Would you be able to do that with them? And then I tap the journal.
Islay? Or no?
Me? So, like, okay, I'm asking Zeke, can I track Islay based on the journal?
You might be able to, but it would be difficult.
Travel ban.
You are not necessarily trained. You have not necessarily trained yourself to become that kind of tracker.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can pick up a scent, but it's like, this is trying to pick up a scent in a city is not easy.
I think Willow will give a kind of nose wrinkle and say, it's not impossible.
But difficult.
I'm not sure it will reap many results.
No, the travel ban hasn't been lifted, and Islay is evidently not exactly skilled in shady dealings. Not exactly confident they could sneak out of the city yet, but...
If they had assistance from someone offering eternity.
You know who would be able to track Islay?
Is Seeker.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Luca's
Are you thinking would I am be one?
rolling that over in his mind if this is something he should bring forward to him. And I think he's leaning towards yes.
I think Willow was too, but not gonna say it.
I think after we speak with Damon, I'll return to the temple.
Honestly, I'd rather have them accounted for. I don't want them going off and getting themselves killed over this.
Luca nods like, yeah. Me either.
And they might lead us to Vaelia in another
Yes.
roundabout way.
They still...
Well,
They still have use.
and this reveals something else. Dragovich and Vaelia were here a month ago?
A whole month.
Planning the stunt for a while then.
We may have
Meta
passed them
question.
Not even seen them.
How long ago did Kelson die?
Beginning of this month.
So they aren't not suspects.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Just that window. Well, hopefully they aren't dead, undead, whatever.
I think Luca's like flipping through the journal casually. And then he kind of realizes what he's doing and he closes it and puts it down.
Yeah, let's keep that somewhere safe.
I want to say N found Seeker Islay's journal like under a loose floorboard under their bed, and it was like not hard to find. That was like the second place you looked.
It's like, oh man, this is what I did when I was 9 years old.
This is baby's first
Yeah.
hiding place.
Yeah.
Is that book like to write in or book to eat later? So sorry. I'm very sorry.
I'll rip out the pages and just eat them as I need them.
Like chips.
It's
Yeah.
my
Like
rations.
potatoes. I feel so bad. I'm making these jokes, but I feel evil.
Well, what do you want to do next?
Well,
Is it time to speak with he?
should
Pays
we...
the bills?
Is there anything we need to discuss before we approach him?
What do we think?
Did N say that out loud?
Yeah, I think as the conversation kind of starts to gear towards what we're going to do next and the Damon question is looming. I've made my intentions clear, but not only am I not the only one in the room, I'm not the only one that he's interested in, so. Luca has mentioned that he's interested in us going on a combat expedition together, which I think is a fair step forward. My stance is that I cannot give him any solid answers until I've finished with this case.
I'd like to hear what he has to say first.
All right, then.
Well, shall we go hear it?
No time like the present, and Willow will lead the way.
Okay.
Without putting on their mask in the hallway, by the way.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
All right.
Don't like that.
Nope. Willow was upset.
Oh, that was an accident.
Wait. Exploded dies.
So, who knocks on the door to Damon's room?
Me.
I'm assuming Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The door opens to you, and you are allowed inside, all three of you. The room is made up. There is a table with chairs around it. And Damon. Just as you usually see him. Good evening.
Evening. I trust
Shall
this
we
is
get
a
right down to brass tacks?
good time.
Yeah.
Let's do it. En's gonna go and sit down.
Oh.
What's Damon's vibe? Rolling like a 40 deception behind the scenes, you bastard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna screenshot the dice.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Please. I need to see.
It's not a nat 20, but it is a natural 19.
Which
Which does beat your insight.
God damn it. So we know he has a higher insight modifier than Willow. That's all we get from that.
Higher charisma modifier. than
Charisma.
Willow.
Sorry.
Obviously. Everyone
That's
has a
not-
higher charisma
Yeah.
modifier.
I'm sorry.
A
Willow.
higher insight than
can't wait.
negative? Yes.
He seems calm, cool, and here for business.
En is going to sit down at the table and just
Angry dog, full body shake.
Don't talk for a second. I need to take off my jumper. 1 second.
gonna have a quick cocktail onion.
I'm back.
All right, ready to fight? Sometimes you need to have a fight before you can have a conversation.
I heard you, Kai.
So go ahead.
Take off your earrings. Snap off the acrylics.
Ugh. I'm fine.
All right. If you're so fine, let's get down to it.
Yep.
Make a hand at Damon, like I would like him to start this conversation.
All right. So, we've been here at the Gold Dragon for almost a week, and the ban, he puts air quotes around it, of people who attended the gallery event is being lifted for most attendance, outside of a handful of interesting individuals, but they don't seem to be going anywhere fast. I know that you, as a group, have pretty heavily involved yourselves into the investigation, which is not ideal, but it's not a complete deal breaker either. Either way, since you're no longer being asked to remain in Regalport on pain of suspicion, I wanted to ask if you still want your room at the hotel under my name, and, well, whether you have any further questions for me regarding employment and so on and so forth.
I kind of look between Willow and Anne, like, how do we want to do this?
I think Willow's looking quite unfalteringly at Damon. Probably like just. It's a pretty hard stare.
What
Okay.
would be the exchange for remaining under your name? At the inn. Let's sort out our lodgings first.
Well, if you just wanted to stay here, or rather, if you'd like to keep your room continuously, then, yeah, I can cover another week, but I'd like to know where we stand. If we're working together formally.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can speak for myself. As you're well aware, I have particularly involved myself very deeply in this case, so that makes it difficult for me to give an answer on moves outside of it yet, but I am open to discussing it further once those matters are complete. So therefore, I will be staying in Regalport. So I have no objections to maintaining this arrangement on the understanding that we will discuss things further down the line.
He nods. By the way, Willow, Damon rolled a 20 on insight on your staring.
I can't possibly get
Yeah.
No.
I can't get any.
You literally cannot beat
Yeah, I
him.
literally can't. Okay. It's a intense sort of assessment. Sort of like if their glasses weren't on, they'd be boring into him
Mm-hmm.
with their eyes. And it's
Okay.
not a
Get to
very
know why.
happy assessment.
Okay. Good to know. Damon's expression does not change.
You're
He glances over to Luca.
Well, I am open to the idea of working with you, as I've said, but I think I would be more comfortable if we continued our trial in that we engage in a more perilous combat experience. I need to know how we would work as a team before I can agree to a team.
Noted. Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
I have no objections.
And any stipulations I have are contingent on the comfort of my companions. So,
Of course. Of course. So, we have 2 table it for laters. He lets his eyes sweep across the room briefly before slowly settling on Willow.
Willow tips their head at him. I think, like, no. Okay. They don't break the stare at all. No, just say, do you care about anything happening presently?
How do you mean?
About the threats against Regal Port, about the death of Tarek Elham, about the impending doom of it all. Do you care? What happens?
I don't think I can give you the answer that you want to hear. So,
I just want to hear the truth, so
not in the way you seem to care about it. I've got enough on my plate already, and I'm pretty sure Regal Court can manage itself.
that's the thing, because we are in the thick of it. You're in the thick of investigating the murder. You're aware of the things I've been asking about. Every day we've been cramming our schedules, and you just don't seem to care very much. Because people don't put transactional qualities on things that matter to them. If I had known that I only had so few instances where I could actually seek your guidance, then I would have asked the important things first. But I suppose I thought that maybe you would give a damn, and I was wrong. Yes?
You were approaching it for like a business conversation, so I treated it like a business conversation.
How was I approaching it like a business conversation? I was approaching it like a conversation to get things done.
No. Guess the egg's on my face and I misinterpreted it. It sounded like you were offering payment in exchange for services. That's the thing that we do in business.
Those services are in favor of a larger goal. Surely you've noticed? Or have I overestimated your intelligence?
I think we've been speaking in different languages for a while.
Apparently. I don't think we've ever spoken the same language.
Quite possible.
Indeed. Maybe you were correct the first time we met, beacon of Syrian nobility. I suppose looking the other way is somewhat your specialty.
Damon just gives like a sort of quiet smile of acknowledgement of like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that seems to have startled Willow a little bit themselves, where they like they try to reel themselves in because that wasn't called for, but at the same time they're shaky angry.
He's not getting angry back, is what you immediately
That's
notice.
worse. Yep.
Yeah. He says, well, I've maybe said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm not used to being a good guy. And I know the only way forward for me to solve this problem that I have is by finding good guys to help me with it.
What were you before this then?
Just some fucking bastard fucking around the jungle in Zendrick. A researcher. The rich one of that.
How's it feel about it?
Never mind. I have no idea what's going on.
Hey, samesies, Willow.
Samesies.
Okay. He's not lying. He doesn't seem to have any strong feelings about it in that regard.
It's just a fact.
Mm-hmm. All that being said, if the condition for our working together is that I help you unconditionally, well, that's different than exchanging my skills as an academic for payment. And I know the ultimate job that I have in mind for you guys is a very big ask. So I don't blame you if you are finding me wanting. Hey, that's
I don't know what I'm finding you. Oh, being frank with everyone at the table. Willow treats everyone to look like, oh yeah, we're all here. You know, I have to reflect on what I expected exactly was happening in this scenario and why exactly I feel so... Whatever this is, definitely not level-headed. But our conversation yesterday did remind me of a very important fact that I was perhaps overlooking. I don't really know who you are. And being a fellow countryman is obviously not enough to pull it through. Especially since we are coming from very, very different backgrounds. You aren't a mirror. Obviously. Same way Tarek was not a mirror. And if he were, maybe we'd have more hands on deck to figure out how to solve his murder. But we don't. So, what were you saying?
Is that what you want? Is that what you want from me?
I don't know what I want from you.
Well, I can't give you, I don't know. If you want to know me better, you can ask me questions. If you want my help, you can ask me for help. You know what I want. And hey, if you change your mind and you want to get off the boat, we haven't signed anything yet.
There's like... they're so angry that he's taking this so calmly. Oh my god, So they'll probably say, so if I ask you to translate a note now, all will be well. It was just a simple misunderstanding.
With the understanding that...
It's in line with the contract. The contract which I can't answer at the moment because I'm too busy trying to figure out the multitude of problems that are involved in me heading back to Siri. Sorry, the Mornlands. Which you aren't aware of, are you? I realize. Everyone here is privy except for the one hoping to take us back. So perhaps I should first start with being vulnerable. Of course. How foolish of me. Well, Damon, the reason I can't answer your question is because I am trying to figure out how to. I have not been back to Siri. I don't know whether I have any family left behind. Unlike you, I cannot be motivated by my brother because I'm currently unsure whether he's dead or not. So, I've been spending each of the past few days, and I have lost track on how many days it has been since Tarek died, trying to figure out how to make sure I do not answer you in such a way that I am making promises that I can't keep, because I can't just hop off the boat at any time. If I start this, I have to finish it. And as you can imagine, that proves quite difficult when I'm also trying to pilot the actual solving of the murder when we are also including other things, like that creep Warfred and the undead cult. There are many things happening at the moment, and all I was hoping for is just a moment of grace to sort my thoughts, perhaps in the room with someone who might see where I'm coming from, but it doesn't seem that you do. Which is fine. I shouldn't have expected that of you or anybody anyway. It's how it goes. Nobody seems to get what I'm saying. That's fine. It's a Willow problem. But please, if I may request, time, perhaps.
You see Damon's expression has changed significantly over the course of you saying all of this. At first, his eyes lit up when you mentioned your brother and not knowing whether he's alive, and then everything, and he seems to have sort of considered his position in all of this and said, "Oh, I really stepped in it, huh? Wish I had known then. I guess I know now." But, like I said before, you can take all the time you need. And if solving this murder, solving this mystery, helps my case, then yeah, I'll help you do it. No further questions asked. Kind of wish you'd led with the fact that you're also missing a brother. But hey, how was I supposed to know? It's not like you told me until now.
Stop talking.
Damon puts up his hands and surrenders. It's like, sure.
Appreciate the magnitude of the situation. I don't know whether he's missing or dead. How was I meant to tell you? Any of you?
Damon makes a face like, can I speak?
Willow's not looking at him, so he can speak if he wants.
Well, since I know now, and I happen to have contacts around the area, I can ask. I can find out what happened to that little town. But considering, let's say, your trajectory and what I know of it, could you blame me for thinking that you just wanted to leave it alone entirely?
I don't care where the blame falls. And the fact you make it sound so easy is really just salt in the wound.
Huh? I'm sorry for misunderstanding you the first time around. I'll try and be better about it in the future. If I may hand you the olive branch of translating that note.
I think the weight of everything Willow just said kind of has been settling on them, as in the pauses. They will stand, pull the note out of their pocket, put that on the table, pull enough gold to pay for the past few days out of their pocket, also place that on the table, and then say, thanks for listening, I need to go for a walk. And then leave.
Did they seem like they want to be alone? For sure, for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, just in case. 18, they want to be alone?
Willow doesn't know what they want. If anyone asks them, they're going to fling themselves out a window. they just... but they do give off vibe of leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be there for them when they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a keen sense of like they hate doing this. Like they hate that they are leaving the room in this state. It sucks. The pity sucks. Almost as much as saying it.
Actually, roll an insight check, Willow.
Yeah. Oh, impending possible pity from Luca and N is what I meant in that state. I'm just avoiding the shit out of Damon.
Okay.
But, okay, insight.
Damon was sincere in his apology.
Good.
Sincere as he could be, and like he kind of seems pleased that you yelled at him.
I don't want him to be happy about it. It's
Unfortunately,
so
I'm happy
annoying.
too. I'm sorry, Willow.
Oh my god, someone be normal.
No.
I'm
I feel
sad
like-
that this has happened.
Thanks,
Does
Luca.
that count?
But Ed is like thinking if Willow wants anyone to go with them, but they're vibing no, so.
I think if I look and so my insight check reveals that Damon seems a little bit like chuffed about it. Not chuffed in a chuffed. Well, sorry, my tone is very bad at the moment because Willow. Like
Sincere.
He's sincere.
He is sincere, and he is like relieved that you confronted him rather than like just letting it fester or leaving without saying a word.
That makes Willow feel sick again. Like there's no winning with them. They just feel queasy in the way that they always get when people are overly sincere with them.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, but I feel like Willow that's part of why Willow's like
I need to leave
I gotta
right
get
now.
out of here. Like this is so like on top of everything being deeply upsetting. Now I'm embarrassed. And also like that hits like a deep nerve of like so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing the shape of it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely seeing the shape of it. So we'll just let Willow go for a walk then.
Yep.
Fish Dog went with them, right?
Yes, and he's not going to.
Okay.
And he's going to. If Fish Dog comes back in the room and is going to shove it out the door and close it.
Yeah, honestly,
Fish
Luca would
Dog's in
too.
Willow's pocket.
Yeah.
Good.
I think Luca is trying to scrutinize Damon a bit.
They finally figured out what they want.
And gives a little nod. Oh, I suppose we mark that down as another pending conversation.
Mm-hmm. Damon takes the note and pushes the gold towards you guys. I ain't taking
Does it-
that.
Disturb you at all that they left like that?
I'm sorry, Ed is scooping the gold over while you're talking. Continue. I believe Luca asked Damon something.
They're a grown up.
I am very much not. Answer me bluntly, please.
Willow had enough self-control to leave the room, rather than, I don't know, leave the room through the balcony. I think they'll be okay eventually.
That's not what I asked.
Rephrase the question.
Do you care at all that you made them leave like that?
Oh, I care.
Does he?
Make an inside check.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh my
I'm
god.
counting the
So
balls.
he is so hard to read, especially considering his tone has not changed, and he is just like looking at the note and is like scanning it very thoughtfully.
I'm going to take the note and put it down.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Sorry, 11.
Uh,
Or just like put my hand over it and push it down onto the table. Something like that.
Damon jerks it out of the way before you can touch him, but he does meet your eyes. If you'd like to say something to me, Luca, please do.
I'm trying to decide. Whether you just eliminated any possibility of me working with you.
You really are loyal. It's a good quality. I'm glad you have principles. It will... Yeah, let's just say it's a good thing. As for the fact that I've upset Willow again, it's something that I seem to be doing continuously since the moment I met them. I'll try and make it up to them, but, well, ultimately it's their decision whether they forgive me or not.
Don't go reaching out for any information without their permission.
Damon quirks an eyebrow. Wouldn't you want information, regardless of the source?
I think they should get to decide when it gets searched for.
You do know that they've been putting that off for, well, years.
And who's to say one more day wouldn't be all they needed?
Make a persuasion check.
22.
Damon sighs. Says, all right. I'll wait for them to give me the go-ahead.
Luca nods.
You
I
can inform
suppose.
them that you persuaded me of that.
I will. And I suppose that one more little trial run with us is to make sure that we don't kill each other as much as something else doesn't kill us. Yes?
He nods. Sure. Let me know when you're done with the investigation. I'll
Are you good at tracking people?
organize... Depends on the person.
All right. You will organize.
Yeah, I was going to organize a monster hunting trip for us.
I look forward to it.
Glad to hear it. If you'll excuse me, I've got some books to read.
I look at N.
And gathers up the gold. Tosses it a few times in its little satchel. I imagine it was kind of in a little bag. I don't know if Willow just dumped it on the table. How did Willow dispense the gold?
I think they pulled it out of their wallet and like squished it on the
Cool.
table.
Okay, well that matches
Just
with
like
Alan.
like,
Graped it all
Yeah.
back together.
yeah.
So Anna's pocketed most of it and rolls one of the coins on their fingers, tosses it into the air and catches it. I'm good.
Great.
I'll let you know if anything comes up. Keep us posted. Gestures at the note.
Will do.
Have a good
Damon lets
evening.
you out of his room and closes the door once you have departed. Where's Willow at?
What time of day is it?
Evening.
Evening. Nightfall.
Hee 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 hee. Hoo hoo hoo. Ha ha. Willow's walking around town. And they are Willow at the moment. They aren't Cognate.
Okay. Any particular direction you're going?
I think for a while they just wander around. They don't wander, it's like a power walk around town.
Yeah.
Just to clear their head. A lot of stuff is beginning to like settle in with what they just said, implications of what they just said. Not necessarily regrets, but they do care how it landed. They do care that they went off at Damon and he wasn't getting angry back at them, and so it makes them feel like bad, like they weren't meant to go off at him, it was just a misunderstanding. But at the same time, he's so freaking annoying that they can't even really feel bad about it. So it's like it's like many different angles of just like, I hate this whole situation. They touched on the things of him being the Syrian nobility, which gave them the shits as well, because they have now dug up that old dog of a feeling.
Mhm.
And I believe that old dog of a feeling is going to take them back to Lady Moradale's. Is it close?
Oh no.
It sure is.
Not for long. What do I have to do to get in there?
Okay, first of all, roll a stealth check.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Wearing your
Brina,
armor?
I have a request. I need to get my coworker out of jail. So about the terms of our contract.
Don't jump the gun, bro. I might win. So, you know how Willow stopped before at the window and caught sight of Cognate and then, like,
Yeah.
backed away? While it would
Yeah.
be more smart for Willow to use their armor.
You can have the
They-
armor without having the mask up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks. But either way, they don't have the mask up, and I do believe they catch their reflection, and then, like, that gives them conviction. Like, yeah. Yeah, actually, yes.
I'm
Okay.
doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll a stealth check. You have advantage because of your armor.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Elbow crashes through a window. I'm kidding. Or am I, honestly?
I swear to God, if we have to come and bail you out of holding the next morning.
Thanks for giving me gold that I'll have to use on your bail.
Willow, so where'd you get the money? And don't worry about it.
Maybe it was all according to plan. Anyway, I haven't been busted yet. God.
No, you haven't. I'm gonna change
Get
the
that pop off
music.
your face, mister.
Bale wakes up to your friend in jail. It just keeps getting worse.
Oh.
I know Mim warned me of this, but it's still like, okay. And I warned Mim about the consequences, potentially, of failure.
Yeah,
Well.
jail.
You're just standing outside the store at the moment. There are people in the street. Not that many, because it is, like, you're in the bougie part of town where there aren't really restaurants and stuff, but like, I will make a perception check as well.
With normal, yep.
Yep, straightforward. Please. Okay, you are aware enough that, like, the way you have approached this, you are not particularly well hidden.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you haven't done anything conspicuous yet.
Yeah. With that perception, can I check what a less conspicuous way might be to do this?
Yeah, I think you were like, okay, I should probably come about this from not the ground level.
Yeah. So I think Willow's going to back up.
Yeah. So.
I've been climbing lately. Do I need to climb now?
Yeah, you can climb.
We'll go down a side alley or something.
Yeah. Make an athletics check and then another stealth check with advantage as you change your position. You can also see that they're.
Until someone drags me to jail, I will just keep trying. So.
Good for them. Okay, I think. Nat 1 on athletics.
Break my freaking leg. I'm kidding.
We get an outside shot of the alley and just a bin rolling.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that you go around to the back alley, you put your palm on a window ledge, you realize too late that there were anti-pigeon spikes on that window ledge. Prick your hand, you take 1 damage, and fall on your ass, taking another damage. You have and like startling a cat, which again sends the bin rolling, cat screaming.
I do literally imagine Willow hits the ground, like, you know when you land on your bum, like, but you fling back
like
into your
tailbone hit.
Oh.
I do imagine them lying on the floor for a second, holding their hand and starting to laugh. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's try again. Can Fish Dog help me at all with athletics? Or at least figuring out a way that doesn't have pigeon spikes on it? Can I use Fish Dog to help me assess the best way up?
Yes, Fish Dog can give you advantage on most of your checks, yes.
Willow's... Okay. Fish Dog, advantage on what am I doing
athletics and stealth. So...
Advantage
roll athletics with advantage and stealth with advantage.
Oh, so Fish Dog has given me an advantage on my athletics.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You successfully climb up. It's not that high of a DC. You literally just needed to beat a 10 because you are not in combat.
That just salts the wound, really.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, cool.
So yes, you successfully climb to a point where like you can have access to the second floor of the shop. It is like a 2-story shop with like a 3rd floor that is probably Morrodale's apartment.
Oh god.
Quick
So
question.
you are 1 level above ground floor.
Okay. With the blood that I left on the spikes, could I have washed that off with like water?
Yeah, you didn't actually leave any blood. You just like pricked yourself or bruised yourself. Yeah,
okay.
you're wearing gloves. You're not like you didn't actually spill blood. It's just like
a Lego effect.
Yeah, ow, 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 and then like crash tailbone hits heading on floor. Laughs softly, returns to business. Okay, so I am on the second. Wait, where's Morrodale's apartment? Did you say 3rd?
Yeah. So it's
there's...
ground floor first, and then the second floor is probably her apartment.
Oh right, and I'm currently on the first floor.
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to roll stealth to try and get down into her shop without alerting her.
Yes.
Or is it?
I will also say that you can probably guess that she has some security systems. The stealth check here is more about you not being noticed by anybody else.
Right.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey There we go.
Cool.
Good. Okay. So you are now at the window. You are pretty confident that you are hidden and not heard.
Cool.
So, if you would like to make an investigation check.
Thank you. With advantage? Because of fish dog?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, what you can tell is that there is a standard alarm spell on the building.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody forces entry, they will set that off. You can use a either Tinker's Tools check or Arcana check to try and manually override the spell or disable it. There will be evidence left of this, but at least it won't trigger the spell to go off immediately.
What's the difference on using Tinker's Tools or on Arcana?
Your preference.
Oh. It's a spell?
Alarm is a spell, yes.
Oh, I know that. That's my spell. Yeah. It's the one I haven't built for the poppy in like 3 months.
Well, let's first keep you out of jail and then we can focus on finishing your tasks.
Yes. Is it Thieves' Tools or Tinker's Tools that I'm using?
Either.
I think Thieves' Tools for the flavor.
Yeah, go for it.
Even though my Arcana is higher, it just feels like more accurate.
Fish dog is helping.
Mhm.
So you are able to sever the thin strand of silver wire in such a way that the spell does not activate. You are basically disassembling the spell as cast, and will have left evidence of this sabotage later. But you are able to open the window and get inside. Morrodale's Antiquities. It is dark, quiet, and silent. The pieces are on display in their glass cases, glistening faintly in the dim light of street lamps and moons that shine in through the windows. What would you like to do?
I know what I came here for, or at least why I came here, but since I disabled the alarm anyway, it doesn't sound like anyone's here, and it's very quiet. Can I just have another look around anyway? Or am I still under...
That was likely not the only security system in here.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not gallivanting around, but I am...
Yeah.
Can I do another investigation check to see what the security
Yes.
system in here is?
Yes.
With Fish Dog helping.
Yeah. Go for it. Okay. So, the glass cases have been enchanted with the spell Arcane Lock, which magically makes locks much harder to pick. And it seems like there is probably some sort of anti-burglary trap that will go off should any of the security systems be triggered.
Like a cage or something.
Something like that. You don't know the exact nature of it, but you can tell that there is something that will probably try and catch any would-be thieves.
Okay. Well, the thing that caught my eye last time would have been one of the main things, yeah?
Yes.
The Siren artifact.
Yes,
and it
that
is
was
mine.
on the lower level.
Yeah. So I think
Give me a perception check in general.
Okay. Can Fish Dog help?
Yes. You are just keeping an eye to, like, not walk into anything by accident.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll say that's good enough. You know the likely hotspots of the actual security systems is going to be contained because it's like it doesn't make sense to have it be the entire shop. Because like if she walks downstairs and like forgets to do a thing and triggers her own security system, that would be pretty stupid.
Yes. And she's not a stupid woman. Not at all.
So cool. So
Yep.
you head downstairs to look at what I believe was a Siren-made astrolabe, calendar of the heavens sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one that she said I was not able to have due to some assessment of my character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willow's going to pull up next to it and like, as I'm supposing I have to start dismantling the system.
Yes. So
Quick question, what kind of casing is it? Is it a breakable casing?
it is a glass casing. A glass
Regular
cabinet
glass?
mounted. No, it's like somewhat enchanted glass. It's slightly more durable, and obviously breaking a glass would trigger the alarm.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, something I would look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm obviously looking for the less invasive route.
Yes. So somewhat more durable glass. Yes, you will need to do again so either you pick the lock with your thieves' tools, and you have to get a very high roll to not trigger the alarm. But that means that you only have to do one check, and if you succeed, you get the item. Or you have to do a few checks to disable the security systems, and then pick the lock.
I think it makes sense for me now to do them all the second one.
Okay.
It's a few more checks, but it's
Yeah, it makes more sense for
like
Willow's.
systemic, like
Yeah.
my method.
That does means if you successfully disable the security systems, you will have more chances to pick the lock. Let's say without it going off. Okay. So which do you disable first? The anti-burglary trap that is part of the security system, or the thing that will cause an alarm if the security system is tampered with?
The alarm sets off the trap?
Yes.
Well, they'd set each other off, I assume.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do set each other off. It's just like, which one do you want to try and tackle first?
Yeah, and alarm is just sound. So I think I'm going to try for the trap first.
Okay.
Even though that just sound can kill me, but you know.
Make either Tinker's Tools or Arcana check to disable the trap spell.
What kind of spell is it? Like, what's the vibe of it? Is it a tangible thing, or is it like a is it a machine?
What do you mean?
Just which one would vibe better, Arcana knowledge or tinkering? For what I'm trying to suss out. To me, the alarm system strikes me as Tinker's, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, I feel like it's because everything and all technology in Eberron is technically magical. I think this would be magical. I would say that Tinker's Tools is if you are like mechanically disabling it, like you are taking apart the pieces of it, which might be more risky but more permanent, whereas Arcana might be like a little more fiddly but a better guarantee of results, let's say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Arcana because the trap thing sounds like a bad time, and I might fail this miserably. So I have advantage though. Fish dog is here.
Yeah. Yes. Also, give me one more investigation check.
Whoops. Oh, and quick question: what is my nearest exit?
Probably
Out the window where I came. Or at the
Yeah.
front door?
Not the front door that's been locked and barricaded. It's got one of those shutter things down.
Gotcha. And I guess the question I was asking about breakable glass is the glass of the case is breakable?
It is breakable, but would be tough.
Yeah.
To break.
Okay.
Okay, so investigation check. Okay, we'll just say that happened before the Arcana check because this is critically important information, and I feel Willow would notice this beforehand. The anti-burglary trap is something that, like, you could potentially get out of if you are trapped in it.
Oh.
It would just be messy. The alarm is the thing that will draw all attention on you. They are connected. I will also say that like setting off the trap will set off the alarm, and setting off the alarm will set off the trap.
So when you said trap, I was like, oh, that's going to kill me instantly. Not kill me, but like, lock me away for sure for certain.
It will put you in a very, very difficult situation, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's probably not going to kill you outright. Probably, maybe, probably. Yeah, I mean, she wouldn't want blood on her expensive carpets. Probably not going to kill you.
Okay, then alarm would make more sense. Thank you for telling me to do the investigation check.
Yes.
Can I redact my...
I will... Yes, you can redact your Arcana roll and that. And also, I will say that, like, on this investigation check, I will tell you the DC that you have to beat to disable one of these spells.
Yep.
It is a 15.
Oh. To disable the alarm?
Yes. Either of these spells is a DC 15 check to disable.
And if I fail, does it set it off?
Yes. If you fail by 5 or more, it definitely sets it off. If you fail it by less than 5, you will have to react very quickly to avoid setting it off.
Okay. Well, didn't come all this way to back out now.
That's what you get on a 18 investigation check, and because of your specific background dealing with these kinds of things.
Yes. So, undoing the alarm system would be Tinker's tools?
Either or, again.
Tinkers or thieves?
Yeah. Yes. Tinkers or thieves or Arcana check. I'm basically giving you a second opportunity to roll that Arcana check, so
I know.
take that gift horse.
Is that kind of cheating? Okay, I'll take the gift horse, thanks. I mean, it still makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Everyone wish me luck.
What is cheating in a game that we make up?
Yeah. I'm like, wish me luck, and everyone in the background is like, why are you doing this?
Just stop!
I mean, the poll that we've got going is 100% support, so...
You have a poll? Anyway, okay.
Go for it.
Thank you. Wish me luck. So I'm trying to beat 15.
Yes.
Blow on the
Without
dice. Not blow on the computer screen.
All right. Now,
do you have any spells or anything that could potentially help you here?
Do you have any last words?
Well, to add to my Arcana check. More than an advantage already does.
Do you have, like, bless or something that would give you extra dice?
What about your snoot?
I could have messed the room up a little more before I got here. That's the only thing I was thinking. But that always runs the risk of me making it worse. Like, put a snare at the start, at the top end, down the stairs where Moradale comes. I probably don't need to do that, but...
No.
It'd be funny if I did.
It doesn't. I don't think you have anything here specifically, unless you can give me a way that you would have a mechanical benefit to it. So
I don't really know how. All I really can think of is my wild hunt shifting, which gives me nothing to do with this. And
can you smell the lock to pick it? Like,
That's a lock, all right.
I mean, this
Can you
is for
see-
disabling the spell, so.
does looking into a different plane of existence help with spells?
Alas, no.
I'm not sure.
Temporary hit points equal to your class. What is that?
I don't think you I had a brief glance at your character sheet. You don't have anything that would help you here, I'm
Thanks,
afraid.
lad. Yeah, it's cool. All right, we're just gonna have to wing it, baby.
Yep. Yep.
Make like an airship and wing it. There's no wings on those, but you know what I mean. One day, make like a songbird and wing it. I'm delaying myself. No, it's okay. We're good. Ready? Spaghetti.
Hey!
That fucking nat 1 in the corner.
Yes!
Oh man! All right.
With great care and focus, you carefully apply your skills as a certified Cannith certified arcane tinkerer and disable the alarm system on this case. Immaculate work. Only if somebody tried to actually take it apart or trigger the alarm itself would they realize that it has been tampered with. You are now free to try and pick the lock. It might set off the anti-burglary trap that is applied to this, but you feel confident that it's something that you could potentially get out of.
Okay,
So,
let's tinker then.
you could also try and disable the trap as well, but I feel like you are like... You could...
I'm good.
Or you might just need to pick the lock. So, picking the lock is a Thieves' Tools check.
Okay. When you said that Willow could escape the trap, I was like, oh no, Willow's just confident enough to be like, oh, I can get out of traps. So it's
Yeah.
it's not impossible. Anyway, let's not censor ourselves after doing that. And Thieves' Tools to try and get into the actual case, yeah?
Yes.
With advantage because of Fish Dog.
Yes.
Willow would give Fish Dog a little high five. 2 fingers against its little fin.
Aw.
For doing the alarm. Anyway, big grin as they go to do this part now. Ready, set.
Wow, you're really dodging a bullet here.
Just barely,
so
We just need like one little push more. Just one something. You're just shy of it, like you almost have it. If you expend your Wild Hunt use here, I am going to say that you can carefully listen to the lock and you get just enough of a bonus. Roll a d4.
Okay.
I would just like to point out that the last 2 rolls had nat 1s.
That's what I was just
You're
saying
right.
about dodging
Right?
a bullet. You are dodging bullets here.
I've gotten 3 nat 1s since I started doing this heist.
Yeah, it's really telling. Thank God for Fish
Yeah.
Dog.
right?
Honestly. Yeah, roll a d4.
Okay.
Just enough of a bonus. You
My snoot is out?
you snoot, your ears wide, you press your little head against the lock and carefully listen to the click of the tumblers as you just finagle it perfectly into position. It's open. You hold your breath as you manage to swing the glass door case open. Carefully do one last perception check with advantage to see that there's nothing else left. Yeah. The case was all that was standing between you and it.
Ooh. So I'm free to
You
reach in and
have
grab it?
You are free to reach in and grab it.
Would you mind describing this treasure to me once more?
I didn't have it written down, but off the top of my head, it is a brass filigree astrolabe and celestial calendar. That means that you can plug in any date and it will accurately create a map of the stars in the sky, the moons in the heavens, as seen over Corvair.
And it's mine now.
It is.
When you get out.
Shh. Don't ruin my moments. It's mine. So I will grab it.
You take
Very
it.
big, like, grin as it comes towards their chest. They hold it in a kind of similar way as they held the elemental crystal when they first got it. A little
It is
more
heavier
devious
than you
about
were
it.
maybe expecting it
Yeah.
to be.
Mm.
It is quite a hefty, valuable object.
Mm.
Priceless, some might say.
Obviously not pocket-sized.
If you stretch the pockets, maybe.
Nah.
Okay. Do you wrap your bandana around it?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Okay.
I think Willow will
Oh.
dig around in their pocket for the Siren one,
Yeah. Yeah,
because they're wearing their
Okay.
Fen bandana at the moment,
of course.
Obviously.
Of course.
for the occasion. But yeah, they'll dig around in their pocket for something to wrap it in, and they'll wrap it up in, their colorful bandana.
Cool. All right. You wrap it up. Make one more stealth check to escape.
Do I have the choice to leave the thing? Do I have to do another check to close the case?
No, you can just close the case.
Okay. Should I
But
leave
it
anything
is-
in there?
A big
If I could
stinky
leave it.
turd.
That was my thought too, but I wasn't gonna say it.
I was gonna say a smiley face on a piece of paper. You guys are horrible.
I was gonna say, how do you personify a flipping off emoji as a person? Let me just think.
Take a
Let me just rack
photo.
my mind. What do I have
Oh.
in my pockets that could be fun to leave in there? I think Willow's
An
gonna be
egg.
thinking about it. A single egg.
Yeah.
We don't have any eggs left from the Delvine house. Let me just
No,
think.
you made
Various
made
dishes with
pretty
it.
short work of that.
Hmm. Should I
What do
leave
you
her a
have in your
copper?
inventory? Oh yes, that would be a big insult. Yes, a single
I'll leave
copper
her a
coin.
copper. Yeah.
Priceless, they
Willow
say.
like wipes it so it doesn't have their
Boy.
fingerprints and shit on it, right?
Yeah, of course. They'll
Okay,
buff
good.
it. No, they're not wiping it. They're polishing it on their shirt. And then they'll just give it a nice, like, little look. I would make them do the coin flip, but I'm nervous that it's going to make me roll, like, a sleight of hand and it'll set off all the alarms. Wait, I disarmed the alarms.
You disarmed the alarm on this case.
Can I... What if I flip a coin, literally in this moment, and then ruin everything? Is it worth it for the style points?
Willow, please don't go to jail. Luke is so stressed.
Let's just say I think you have already proved that you are stylish enough. You can flick it in your hand. You don't flick it into the case because that seems.
Oh,
a
no.
little-
I meant flip it, catch it, and then place it in the case.
Yes,
I do
you can
that with that? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yay. Out of curiosity, I do want to roll a sleight of hand check just to see if I get a nat one.
Okay then.
Okay.
No advantage on this one. Straight roll.
Oh. Well, either way.
You get the
Good
first
thing
one.
you rolled a 20.
Ugh.
Please just get out of there.
Stealth check and get out of here.
Yeah, just leave, please, already.
So Willow flips that coin, catches it, places it in the thing, closes
Gently
it.
closes. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll begin to make their way out.
Yeah. Roll a stealth check with advantage.
Ready? Just get thee.
Oh.
I think as you leave, I'm gonna roll a d20, see if anybody notices you.
Oh.
Okay. So, you successfully leave Marldale Antiquities, and somebody spots the shape of a very shady shifter climbing out of the window and retreating into the night in the streets of Regalport.